Yes! Oh, man. Monday Night Football is just a few hours away. I will be going live for Monday Night Football. I'm extremely jacked up about that. And I hope you are too. You get a double dip of Dan Talks Football. So very, very excited about that. I'm just going over some minor technical difficulties here. Bear with me just 1 second. Okay, I'm good to go. Wow. What a wild week of football. I honestly don't even know where to begin. What I did is I got the NFL Sunday ticket. I literally finished Sunday Night Football at 4 a.m. I watched as much as I possibly could. Blank 13! I smoked a guy I play against 163 to 102. Yes! What a great way to start the week, to start the show by hearing about this. Just because I'm not calling it Fantasy Football Monday does not mean we cannot talk fantasy football. It's my favorite thing in the world, to help people win their bets, games, etc. I just love this. Hopefully the guy is not playing 4 or 5 guys tonight. Does the guy have anybody playing tonight? Just like hopefully you have somebody, maybe he has somebody. I don't know. Harry, what is up, man? What a crazy week. What a crazy week. Yeah. Sisu, my German brother. This is great. I get my Canadian brother. I get my German brother. Oh man. I am so tickled pink that I have a fan from Germany, place I visited. And by the way, like I loved it. I would love to go back. Amazement, man, dude. Yeah. So listen, amazement. I walked away from that game because Antoine Winfield, probably the best free safety in football. He didn't play. I think one of your starting corners are out. I walked away from that game thinking Tampa had the better team. That was kind of my thought process. I watched Carolina play Chicago thinking that with Andy Dalton breathing some life, maybe they can do something. No, they're not. And by the way, this wasn't indicative of Chicago arriving. This is just Carolina's just not going to be a good team this year. I mean, unless the Saints win tonight, which I am not expecting. I think it's going to be a good game. Don't get me wrong. The Chiefs don't blow people out. They make it interesting, make my hair fall out. But I'm gonna walk away from week 5, and I'm going to say the best team in the NFC South is still Tampa Bay. Atlanta, if they get their offense working like they did and get everybody involved in the passing game and Cousins is throwing the ball, then I may change my mind, because the one thing I said many times, and I stand by it, Atlanta has one of the best secondaries in all of football. And I like their defense. I really like their defense. It's just they don't have a pass rusher. So they bring in Judon. But Judon's best when he can do a little bit of everything. And also, if it's a 1-year rental, then I think it's silly. But, yeah. I'd love for us to beat the Saints. Yeah, my picks video is coming out tomorrow. But I spoiler alert, I'm going to pick Tampa. Look, one team plays Thursday, one team plays Monday. I picked the Giants to win, based in large part of that. Also due to some injuries, but Yeah, I mean, unless something really weird happens, that's kind of the um, it is in New Orleans. It is New Orleans. So yeah, or the game is in New Orleans, New Orleans, whatever. But yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't emphasize it. This is maybe the best safety in football. I think he's the best safety in football. I love his game. I remember watching his dad play for the Bills. Um, I mean, I love this dude. I love this dude, and I agree with you. He looked much better in a Chiefs uniform. I'm teasing, but yeah. I will win if the Chiefs defense. Yeah, it's pretty unlikely the Chiefs defense will do 50. I would not be surprised if Chiefs defense has a good game, though. There's some offensive line injuries with the Saints. They're already thin to begin with. You have a rookie left tackle. Arrowhead's usually a loud, intimidating environment. It's Monday night. I'll tell you this. I have been a Chiefs season ticket holder since '89. When I don't know, I know YouTube kind of flags it, so I'm going to say when 2020 hit, me and my dad stopped going, and my sister and her husband they continued the family tradition of going out to Arrowhead. But it's kind of lost something since Mahomes has been there. It's more of a wine and cheese crowd. It used to be when you went to Arrowhead, you screamed till you couldn't talk the next day. Nobody does that anymore. There's lots of people that want to stand, which I can yell just as loud sitting down. Some people think it's great to stand the whole game. I'm not one of those guys. It's funny because you see people doing this. This drives me nuts. I'm exaggerating with the mouth movement, but they are not making any noise, but they want you to make noise, and it doesn't matter how much I can yell just as loud sitting down as I can standing, but people that stand but then they don't yell like that would drive me nuts. But it's not the same intimidating environment. It's really not. But I still expect the Chiefs defense to have a pretty good game. I mean, Chris Jones is playing out of his mind. George Karlaftis, I don't care what PFF has him ranked at, is one of the best defensive ends in all of football. We got a former first rounder FAU who's starting to get involved a little bit. We got two really good linebackers, and Trent McDuffie's one of the best corners in football, and we got some good safeties. So I do fully expect the Chiefs to win, but I think it's going to be a good game. I do think it's going to be a good game. I don't think the Chiefs defense, it would not surprise me if Chiefs defense put up some fantasy football points. I don't see how that's possible. So you probably won. Just one. That's awesome. Yeah, I per ESPN, I haven't even looked at the Bet US point spreads yet. I am going to pull up Bet US. I'll give you, if you want to do a little sports betting, here's a little fun fact. The Chiefs have given up a touchdown opening drive every single game this week. I'm going to bet US because whoever scores first, I'm probably putting money the other way. Even if the Chiefs get the ball and they score first, I think they're 5.5. If the line goes double digits, I'm going to put money on the Saints, maybe. And I say that because I could see things going downhill. But Saints score first, which I actually expect to happen, then the line will drop. And I'll put action on that. So yeah. Oh God, too, it was funny. I was watching Alabama Vandy, and I've watched a lot of football over the years, and you can kind of see when it. So okay, so I started off Saturday. Full disclosure, I have to work Saturday. So I was watching Ohio State and Iowa. I was watching Ohio State and Iowa, and I was like, maybe Iowa can pull the upset early on. Then Ohio State started getting going. I'm like, no. So I switched over to Vandy, Alabama. And I was like, this looks like an upset. And there was one play in particular where an Alabama player kind of like this is what you do with teammates. You pat somebody on the butt, and one of the Bama players patted a Vandy player after a play, and I was like, that Nick Saban would not let that fly. There's no, and what it was, you could just tell that Alabama wasn't taking the game very serious. Vandy, like I'm not a fan of like the all black uniforms, but I mean they looked really dialed in. Alabama didn't. I mean, look, I understand you just beat Georgia. It's Vandy. I understand. But yeah. Tennessee, Denver Gators been telling me to watch Tennessee all year. Haven't had a chance to do that. The Niners lost to the Cards. I'm going to talk about that in a little detail because I predicted the Cards would cover. I really like the Cards to cover. I did not expect a win. Did not expect a win. That whole NFC West is wild. The whole NFC West is wild. And I'll be honest with you, I know they lost, but I could still see the 1-4 Rams with a legitimate possibility, to win. And this makes Thursday night game massive. I mean, this makes Thursday night game massive. You have a 2-3 49ers team versus a 3-2 Seattle team. Seattle loses and goes to 3-3. Everything's up for grabs. Seattle wins that game, the 49ers are in full panic mode. I mean, and it's in Seattle. It's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a fun game. But yeah, by the way, Arizona, talk about like they're a team that is so up and down. I don't know what to expect out of this team. Really don't. Yeah, Cliff, I really regret not putting action on them. It was kind of weird what I did. By the way, I'm glad to see you, brother. I hope to see more of you in the future. But yeah, I didn't put any action down on any games this weekend. Full disclosure, I slept in. My birthday was Saturday, and I had to work, so I wanted to eat some junk food and stay up late, and I decided I was just going to sleep in and watch as much football as I could. But I literally didn't stop watching football till 4 a.m. I stayed up all night, literally watching football. It was crazy. I tried to watch every single morning game. Weird thing. I didn't watch the Houston Buffalo game because I didn't. There wasn't really much out of that game I really need to see. Because I was watching the highlights, on the ticker and seeing the updates. So I knew I didn't have to watch that. I watched bits and pieces. I tried to watch all 8 morning games, like start to finish. I missed bits and pieces of some of the games. I just tried to skip through. I didn't watch the Giants Seahawks game, and I didn't watch Arizona and San Francisco. That was it. But yeah, the Giants, Thursday game, massive spread. I did one thing about Seattle. I was not buying into the hype. I wasn't buying into the hype. So, oh, dude. Oh, okay. Yeah. After the first half of my fantasy team was just, Collins. Yeah. I don't know if they're all torn out. Moved out, ruled out this week or not. I have not had a chance to watch or to follow the injury reports. I'm going to kind of do that tonight. I'm going to watch. Obviously, I'm going to do play-by-play for the Chiefs Monday night game. I already have the picks lined up for next week. I just have to make the video. I do that after Monday night. And then I'm going to try to get a good beat on the injury report for tomorrow's show. I have no idea who's going to play, who's not. I've been saying this. If I'm the Colts, and I haven't had a chance to go on the Colts website and look at this, but if I'm the Colts, this is a no-brainer. I mean, you start Joe Flacco. You can't give up 37 points to a struggling offense and expect to win. I mean, it would not surprise me if they fired their defensive coordinator, who I like. I really was expecting the Colts defense, even with the injuries that they have, to be better. So I don't know how, if I'm the Colts, I don't make Flacco the starter, and then you can implement Anthony Richardson slowly into the offense. You have to understand something. The kid's like 21, 22 years old. And so, I mean, you have your future, but you don't have to throw him out when he's not ready, and I don't think he's ready. Forget the injuries. Forget the injuries. He's very clearly not ready to be an NFL quarterback. How do I know? Well, Joe Flacco took that same offense, 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. There is a 0% chance Anthony Richardson would have had 400 yards passing and three passing touchdowns. 0. Having a kid struggle when your backup quarterback's playing this well just eats at your confidence. The best thing to do with Anthony Richardson is say, hey, listen, we're going to put you in a situation, like 3rd and 1, maybe 4th and 2, maybe put you in, 2 to 3 plays a game. Best thing to do is have him put on a headset, sit and learn. So, oh yeah, man. Britt at linebacker got exposed. Look, you play him in Tampa. Your defense will make adjustments. I have no idea Winfield's timetable to return. I was under the impression he'll be back soon. So yeah. I mean, I'll say this though. I mean, nobody's ever said Drake London didn't have talent. I am a huge Darnell Mooney fan. I always felt like they didn't use him right in Chicago. They weren't using him right in Atlanta. Finally, they get everything together, start using people correctly. And then Kyle Pitts, coming out of college, I don't think I've ever seen a tight end with more upside and athletic ability than Kyle Pitts, and why they are not using him more is a mystery. Because remember, you gave up a 3rd round pick for Matthew Judon. I would make some phone calls and see if somebody's interested in Kyle Pitts. And that's a guy that they're not really using. When the trade deadline comes up, I'm kind of interested to see what some of these teams are doing. But I would not be at all surprised if Tampa Bay wins that game. I watched that game, and I really believe. By the way, I'm glad you didn't come out and go, hey, that face mask cost us the game, or this call cost us. I'm really glad you didn't come out, and I'm really glad you didn't come out and say that. I'm really glad you didn't come out and say that, because you could very easily blame the officials. It was a very clear missed call. Late in the game, they call that face mask. It's game over. So I'm really glad you didn't say that. I still think Tampa Bay is a better team. Sometimes the best team doesn't always win. So, Andre, what's up, brother? Man, glad to see you in the chat. He says, Dan, what's up, brother? Any player props you like for tonight? I have a profit booster figure to ask about the Chiefs. So one negative about BetUS, there's no player props, so I don't know the exact numbers. However, I am here to offer some player prop advice. Somebody on social media, I saw a player prop, and I have no idea where it's from. 25 plus yards rushing, 2 plus receptions for Kareem Hunt. I responded that with the linebacker injuries with the Saints, I thought this was a solid bet. Kareem Hunt is getting the start, so I don't know the number on Kareem Hunt receptions or rushing yards. I like the over on that. Depending on what number you can get for Kelsey, because Kelsey's a high profile player, you're probably not getting a great number on that. But if you can get somewhere in the low 60s, you may want to go over. I do like Kelsey to have a good game. I'm leaning towards, I don't know the number. Again, Patrick Mahomes, high profile player. I don't know the passing yards. I will say this, I'm going to give you a surprise prop. Because I do think they want to run the ball, and I think that's going to be the game plan. But I would not be surprised to see Derek Carr have some passing yards in this game. More than likely, that number is probably around like 230. The over-under on Derek Carr passing yards probably 220, 230. I would probably go with the over on that. Another prop bet you may want to do that's been hitting in the past, I don't know what the number is. Patrick Mahomes rushing yards. That's been a solid prop bet that's hitting. Linebackers, when you have backup linebackers in there, what do they want to do? They want to pay attention to Kelsey. I think Kareem Hunt, they're going to throw the ball to Kareem Hunt. Anything Kareem Hunt, like 2.5, 3 receptions, take the over. I think he's going to have about 5 to 8 receptions in this game. Because of that, I think the Patrick Mahomes rushing yards will go up. That's a good one to go on. Patrick Mahomes passing yards. Every time I said to go down, he'll do like a 400-yard game. I do think this might be a situation where you take the under on Patrick Mahomes passing yards. Usually it's a high-profile player. Usually that number gets inflated, but I would avoid it, but I can see a situation where he goes for over 400. I can see a situation where Patrick Mahomes does a lot of check downs, leans on the running game, and has like maybe 200. Come and think of it, stay away from Patrick Mahomes passing yards. But Patrick Mahomes' touchdown number would be interesting because I think he has a couple touchdowns. Travis Kelce touchdown. I like that one. Amazement. I'm really glad you brought this up. I'm buying the Vikings too. They are legit, especially on defense. I see Flory's getting another shot at a head coaching job. Keep an eye out on him. Wonder what to do with McCarthy when he comes back, or do they roll with Sam? These are great questions. Funny, I got a buddy of mine who's a Vikings fan, and I keep telling him the same thing. I said, what do you do? Because you have this unproven entity at quarterback. But you moved up in the draft to get him. I mean, there's no question you wanted to get your quarterback. I can make a strong case Sam Darnold is the MVP. I can make a strong case, even though he didn't have a good game against the Jets defense, which I will tell you is still a really, really good defense. What I would do, well, first of all, Flory should get another shot at a head coaching job. Suing the NFL, that was not smart, but hey, I understand. I thought he deserved to get fired from Miami. He learned some things in Minnesota. There's always 4 to 8 coaching jobs. Last year it was 8. There's always a handful of jobs that are going to be open. Always, every single year. I think you have to literally, look at this. I know they won, but I would seriously, if I was the New York Giants, I do think Dable's on the hot seat. I know, again, same thing. I know they won. Doug Peterson definitely on the hot seat. I mean, Kevin Stefanski, you're a former offensive coordinator. You all this draft capital. You cannot make things work with Deshaun Watson. I hate to say it, Gerard Mayo might be on the hot seat. You never know. But yeah, I would if I need a head coach, I don't know how you don't look at Flores. And what I would do with Darnold is I would do everything to bring him back on like a 2-3 year deal, and I would pay him, and I would also try to see if I could structure the contract so that if he's a backup, maybe it's a little less money. Um, you may also want to throw out there, because I mean, there's a handful of teams that are going to be looking at a quarterback. You may want to throw out the trade value of McCarthy. I mean, he was he was universally a first round pick, even with the I think it was torn ACL. When he comes back, what's his trade value? Let's say your team, okay, the Raiders 100% are going to try and get a quarterback. Would it be better for the Raiders to use a first round draft pick or trade up in the first round for a quarterback, or to give Minnesota a number 2, which right now looks like it's going to be a high second round pick? It's going to be a lot of fun. I do believe in the Vikings. I don't know the extent of the Aaron Jones injury, but here's what I told my buddy who's a Vikings fan. There's 3 things. Number 1, you have a great defense. If the defense keeps playing well, you're a legit NFC contender. Okay? Darnold's got to stay healthy and playing relative. I mean, you can have a game like he did last week. I think it was no touchdowns and a pick, but I mean, you have to be able to make plays. He has to stay healthy. If you go with the backup quarterback, of course, that's true with every NFL team. Basically, you go with the backup quarterback. And number 3, I think Aaron Jones has to stay healthy. I really, really, really believe this. If he misses a game or 2, it's not that big of a deal, but they really kind of, I think they need his presence. He's a legit 3-down back. I don't know if he's one of the best running backs in football anymore. Doesn't need to be, but I do think he needs to stay healthy. If he's out for an extended period of time, or he comes back and he's not the same guy, I would be worried. I would be worried. So yeah. Saints first touchdown. Oh, that's a good one. God, I mean, basically, it's one of 3 guys. Kamara would probably be number 1. Rashad Shaheed, or Shaheed. What a cool name. I wouldn't be surprised if they go downfield, try to hit a home run ball early. That would be good. That would probably be my number 2, and then Olave would be 3. I don't know if Taysom Hill is. That's one of the things I haven't had a chance to do yet. I know he's banged up, but if he plays, he might be number 3 or number 4. So either one of those. Derek Carr maybe, but that's a solid prop bet. Those Saints player getting the first touchdown, you may be able to get a really, really good number. My guess would be, and the guy I would kind of look at would either be Taysom Hill if he's playing, because you may be able to get a crazy number like 950 or something maybe. But I mean, Alvin Kamara would probably be my pick. I very rarely do those type of prop bets, but I do like the Saints to score first, because 4 times this year, the opposing team has gone down and scored a touchdown against the Chiefs. 4 straight times. So I like looking at trends. So yeah. May take Gray. Gray over receptions. Worthy TDs interesting. That's literally a coin flip. If I'm honestly, what I think the Saints are going to do defensively is, I think they're going to really try hard to take away the deep ball. I think they're going to do kind of, I would not be surprised to see a lot of cover 2. For those of you who don't know what cover 2 is, you take 2 safeties, you play them on both halves, usually like 15, 17 yards deep. One of the things teams were doing against the Chiefs when they had Tyreek Hill is playing cover 2 like 25 yards back and saying, beat us underneath. I could see the Chiefs, or I could see the Saints taking away the deep ball. And I could also see the Saints saying, you know what, beat us underneath. We're going to bracket Worthy. And I could also see the Saints going, hey, you beat us underneath, roll the dice with Worthy. We're going to put Lattimore on Worthy. I really think that the Saints are going to try to play a lot of cover 2, take away the home run ball, and try to shorten this game up. So the Worthy TD, I'm not a fan of. But keep in mind, if the Saints roll the dice against Kansas City, which some teams do. Some teams say, hey, look, the back-to-back defending Super Bowl champion, we're going to bring out all the stops. So, we'll get a little creative. I don't expect Dennis Allen to do that, though. I really expect Dennis Allen to try to take away the deep ball and to have Kelsey, Kareem Hunt, guys like Noah Gray. Gray over on receptions, you're probably getting 2.5. Yeah, I do like that. And by the way, I don't think Gray's going to have like 8 catches or anything ridiculous, but I think he'll have anywhere between 3 and 6. So anything over 2.5 is very solid. These are some good bets. Let me know. I hope join the live stream and let me know how you're doing, and I'll keep track of everything while the game's going on, because I want you to win some money. Yeah, Perry, you've been saying this for a long time, and the way things are going, he also had a chance for another one. There was a penalty of some sort, and I can't remember what it was, but watching that game, Brian Thomas Jr. is now the number 1 guy in Jacksonville. There's no doubt. He's special, and you've been saying it since March. Brian Thomas Jr.'s best receiver, with Neighbors being injured, Romo Duze being in there's lots of different weapons. Marvin Harrison Jr. Barely had anything, the way I understand it. The Cardinals 49ers game was one they didn't watch, but Brian Thomas Jr., I mean, honestly, if Jayden Daniels wasn't an NFL MVP candidate, Brian Thomas Jr. would be a Rookie of the Year candidate despite only 1 win. He's very, very impressive. He's everything you said. Everything you said. Lions, Vikings next week, big game. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. So it's a little confusing the way you worded that. Okay. So it's actually 2 weeks. So Lions play Cowboys this week. The Vikings have a bye. But is that in week 7, Lions, Vikings? Yeah, that's week 7. Next week it's Lions, which, by the way, Lions at Dallas. That's a huge game. Huge game. Minnesota has a bye. Andre, good. These are some great prop bets. Dan, I'm just curious in your opinion, which these prop bets you like, over, under, Worthy, 40.5. With Worthy, I would avoid Worthy completely. By the way, I mean, he could do this at any time. I mean, he touches the ball once and it could be a 41-yard reception easily. Noah Gray, 19.5. I really like a lot. I think Noah Gray is going to have somewhere between 3 and 6 receptions tonight. I think the Chiefs are going to use a lot of 12 and 13 personnel. The reason why is that the Saints linebacking unit, Willie Gay, former Chief, and Demario Davis, one of my all-time favorite players. Both these guys were Demario Davis has been out, I think, the last couple of weeks. He didn't play last week. So there's some injuries. I don't know which ones are going to play, not play. Even if they are going to play, they're going to be banged up. I really think Kareem Hunt receiving, I think, is going to be a good one. I don't know if you have an option for that, because I think with Kareem Hunt receiving, you may be able to get something really low. It wouldn't surprise me if you're looking at like 12.5. The Kareem Hunt receiving one I would take if it's available. But I like Noah Gray. 58.5, I like with Kelsey. It's a big number, but I really do like it. I really do like it. Kareem Hunt, 49.5 yards rushing. That number I do like. If I had to rank these, I think the Noah Gray one's the best one. Second one would be Kareem Hunt. Third, Kelsey. Keep in mind, Xavier Worthy could hit that on the first play of the game. He could be shut out. I'm not sure. Kareem Hunt receiving, if you have an option for that, it's probably 12.5. It may be something dreadfully low. Take that. Take that. Let me know, by the way, Andre, if please, link is in the description below. I will be doing play-by-play live for Chiefs Saints. If you put any action down, actually join no matter what, please. But if you put any bets down, please let me know. I'm going to keep track because the whole point of this show and the whole point of me being here is I want to help you guys win as much money as you can. I will be on Bet US doing some in-game wagering. I fully expect the Saints to score first. And then once the Saints score, I'm going to put action on the Chiefs. I think Chiefs cover 5.5 anyway. So Zach Taylor on the hot seat. Bengals are so cheap. Who knows if that? Seriously, I want to tell you no, because he led them to a Super Bowl and an AFC Championship game, and the offensive production. Here's what I think, and I'm a huge Lou Amaruno fan. My boy Keys, who he sent some stuff on Twitter, but he hasn't been able to come on the show. Now I'm doing afternoons. He's busy. He's a male stripper, so he'd probably get mad at me if I said that. I don't know. He's got a great sense of humor, but me and him have been huge Lou Amaruno fans. He's the defensive coordinator for the Bengals. It would not surprise me if they fire Amaruno first, and then after you put the scapegoat on the defensive coordinator, then you would turn up the hot seat on Zach Taylor. But that's usually what teams do is try to put a scapegoat in. I mean, what were the numbers on Burrow? 393 and 5 touchdowns. I mean, I'll be honest. I do think Lou Amaruno's days are numbered in Cincinnati, and with the success he's had against the Chiefs specifically, I think that he will rebound. I don't feel bad when you have a defensive coordinator or a head coach lose their job. I feel bad for the coaches that are underneath him that get fired that you don't know, because those guys, those are the ones who really struggle. Lou Amaruno makes 6 or 7 figures. He gets fired. He should be fine. But I think Lou Amaruno, defensive coordinator, that guy is under fire. I mean, what was the final score? 42-39, 41-38. You can't score 38 points at home and lose. You can't. And Joe Burrow came out public and he goes, we're not a championship caliber team right now. And that was a subtle, maybe not so subtle hint at the defense. So defensive coordinator first, then you have to put some pressure on Zach Taylor. The Bengals are cheap. That's never been, Mike Brown is the owner and general manager. He doesn't like to take the spotlight like some people in Dallas do, but he runs a team very similarly to Jerry Jones, except Jerry Jones goes all out and spends money left and right, makes some great investments where Mike Brown's just complete opposite. He nickels and dimes, and there's definitely a possibility that because I think they did sign him an extension. I could be wrong, but defensive coordinator first. But seriously, could the Bengals make a move at head coach? Sure, they could. I think it's unlikely, but they could. I seriously was a little surprised. They put Winston in. They were going to have him do like a fourth and 1 play, and then there was like a false start, so then they ended up punting. I absolutely, Jameis Winston was a dude that I remember watching Hard Knocks, and when he was on Hard Knocks, I remember thinking, like, this isn't a guy who should be. This is not the behaviorism of an NFL quarterback. He just looked wildly immature. I mean, he was doing all the right things, like working out. It's just that, I watched a lot of football in my life. I'm like, you can't be an NFL starting quarterback like this. And I think he just really embraced the challenge of being a backup quarterback. I see him on the sidelines always, hyping up players. Looks like he's got the attitude. The one thing you have to realize about Jameis Winston is that he's got a crazy amount of talent. A crazy amount of talent. I mean, he's a big dude who can move. Like arm talent, arm strength is really above average. It would not. I seriously. Look, you brought this up for Cincinnati. Kevin Stefanski is on the hot seat. And I would seriously, I would do this right now. I would try to save my job. I would blame Winston, and I would blame the front office, and I would say, look, give me a quarterback that does what I want to do. Because the offense, the wide open offense, he doesn't want to do that. That's never been his style of offense, and it's not working. I would blame Watson. I talked about this briefly with the Raiders. The Raiders, maybe they should trade for McCarthy. Why wouldn't the Raiders try to go after Deshaun Watson? Maybe you can get him for a fourth. And look, you're Cleveland. You just eat some money for a year. I've been blaming the offensive line, but I watched that game. The body language of everybody on that offense is bad. Jedrick Wills came back. I mean, they need to make some changes. I would go after the quarterback, even though it may cost you your job. I would do it to try to save my job, because Jameis Winston can play in the NFL. I would switch back to the offense I ran last year if Nick Chubb comes back, and I would go with Winston, and I would just tell the front office, look, you guys gave an arm and a leg. You gave them all the guaranteed money. Let's just cut our losses. We'll go with Jameis Winston. Maybe we can draft somebody next year. That's what I would do. I've been defending Deshaun Watson. I watched that game. Nobody on that team. I mean, it was funny. I was listening to some social media, and a guy's like, can somebody please trade for Amari Cooper? He looks miserable out there. The whole team looks miserable. So, hey man, I hope you can, my German brother. That Ravens Bengals game was a lot of fun. That Bengals Ravens game was a lot of fun. It was funny because people are talking about, after the game, people are talking about, is Lamar Jackson now back to an MVP candidate? And I think it's Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, they didn't really use him much of the game, but late in the game, he has that big run to I think, ice the game. He puts him inside the 10 for the chip shot field goal. And I'm like, why can't Derrick Henry be MVP? It was a lot of fun. Yeah, with the time zone and everything, it wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, I hope you can, brother. I hope you can. Yeah, Wilkins is out. They got some good defensive players. They benched their quarterback. The offense is bad. I think Pierce is on the hot seat. A lot of problems with the Raiders. It was funny because I knew the Raiders, even after beating Baltimore, I knew they weren't a good team. I thought they'd hover around 500. They could still hover around 500, but I think benching the quarterback was a bad move. I really do. I also didn't think Luke Getsy was the right guy to be offensive coordinator, but Bowers is playing well, and there's some good things with the Raiders, but the quarterback position is abysmal, and they're going to struggle. No, I heard about it, and out of all the early games, I watched most of all of them except for Houston Buffalo because I there was really not anything I really needed to see between the two teams. I think they're two of the best teams in the AFC. I predicted Houston would win. I also knew that I could watch the highlights are going to be on left and right. Um, I wanted to watch a lot of the other games to get an idea. I heard about it. I didn't watch it live, but I heard about afterwards. There's going to be some talk about the Buffalo Bills. Same issue with Miami. Remember the way that they handled the Tua concussion. We're gonna see what's going on. But yeah, I heard about it. I didn't see it. I heard about it, and there's going to be some investigation going on. By the way, I mean, I do expect Josh Allen to play on Monday night. That's going to be a fun one. But if he doesn't play, oh boy, a backup quarterback against the Jets. Wow. Yeah. It's funny because the way that they don't use their players. Um, I mean, honestly, I'm not trying to compare the two, but like, doesn't Drake London kind of remind you a little bit of Mike Evans? Like, it's kind of weird because they don't really use him right, but he shows up against Tampa Bay, and if I'm Tampa Bay, I mean, Evans is on a 2-year deal. I think this is London's second or third year, if I remember right. Third year, second year. Um, I mean, are they going to make a trade this year? No, but I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if London, when he hits free agency, I mean, there's a lot of questions you have to ask yourself with the Falcons, but when a team does that against another team, that's like, hey, come on over to our side. Mike Evans retired. Do you want to be Mike Evans, the next Mike Evans? That's kind of what I could see happening. It's something to kind of watch out about. But yeah, um, yeah, I don't know the situation on Win. I think Winfield's coming back soon. I just don't know when. The defense is Perry. I said this last week, and I'm saying it this week. The defense is not the same. It's no longer a good defense. You have some world class players on that defense. Let's be clear. You have some really, really good defensive players, but you lost a lot of coaches and you lost a lot of players, and it's showing up. I mean, Roquan Smith's not the same dude. Kyle Hamilton is still phenomenal. Marlon Humphrey's still a really good corner. But I mean, I went into the season, Roquan Smith's maybe the best linebacker in football. I'm not saying that now. The defense is in here's the good news for Baltimore. This is the defensive laden draft. So it would not surprise me if the Ravens go in really heavy on trying to fix their defensive struggles, probably maybe look at getting a new defensive coordinator. You never know. You never know. By the way, the Michigan Wolverines hired Wink Martindale after he quit or was fired from the Giants, depending on how you want to look at that. It wouldn't surprise me if Baltimore brings him back. We'll find out. Noah, what's up, brother? I made a trade today and need a good running back was upside going forward. I have McBride and JSN was not starting or will not anyway. I did Ferguson and JSN for Jacobs and Jacoby Myers since Adams is getting traded. Nice job getting Jacobs. Nice job getting Jacobs. And, JSN, Ferguson, I don't remember who your tight end is. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You have McBride. I was going to say, I thought you had Goddard, but yeah, if you have McBride, he's going to be your starter. JSN, wildly productive, but you never know. I like picking up Myers. I mean, if you're not using JSN, you're probably not going to use Myers, but yeah, nice job getting Jacobs. Really nice job getting Jacobs. And Myers is not a bad player. So good job. Yeah. Bad defense. There's still a lot of problems in Jacksonville, but yeah. Cliff says, I give Flores big credit for not taking Ross's bribes to take. Hey, listen, you're in the area. I'm not. I don't know if what's true, what's not, but I do think that I've been saying the same thing. Like, I am an old school football guy. I love watching that Vikings defense. It's so much fun. There's always going to be some teams, depending on who gets fired, is interesting. If the Jacksonville job became available, if I'm Flores, I would really be interested, because you got some really good front seven personnel on that team. So that would be kind of a neat fit. And offensively, you have to hope that, Trevor, this is the norm for Trevor Lawrence and not the way he's been playing. That's interesting. Same thing with the Giants. Also, some really, really good front seven personnel. Be interesting. So, but you're there in that area. I have no idea what happened, what didn't happen. I know the lawsuit's still ongoing. That could affect him getting a job, but if I'm an NFL team, I have to take a look. If I need a new head coach, I have to take a look at Flores. Oh, yeah, Perry's comment, the thing is, the owner is the boss. You need to tell him what to do. If you don't like it, move on. Tanking is the way you rebuild or retool. NFL teams don't do it, like, or the NBA. And I'm by the way, I want to be very clear. I never think that you should tank. It was funny because the Houston Texans, the year that they went 2-14, I think it was 3-14, or maybe it was 4-13. Anyway, they won a game late, and everybody was mad because they're not going to get the number 1 pick. They get the number 2 pick. Well, the number 2 pick, they got CJ Stroud. That's working out better. I don't believe in you can maneuver the draft and you can maneuver free agency well enough. Case in point, Brian Thomas Jr., the Jags traded down a couple times and got him. Well, they get him at 23. Does he look better than Marvin Harrison Jr. or Roma Duze or Neighbors? Yeah. Yeah, you've been saying this. You've been saying this for a long time. Perry says, I'm not really sure if it's GM Peterson or the coaches or Trevor Lawrence is the problem with the Jags. I really think Jags may need to get a new GM and coaches. I mean, you never know. I did see something about him and free agent receiver Gabe Davis getting at it. It's the first time I ever seen somebody get after Trevor Lawrence, and it makes me wonder if maybe some of this blame needs to go on Trevor Lawrence. With the big contract, I don't think you can do anything. So, take that number. I take that one. I'm telling you right now, I really think he's going to have, I'm giving you a big range here, but like 3. He was used a lot in the receiving game before, and they didn't use him at all. He'll be a big part of this receiving unit. You'll see a couple screen passes to him early, but take that 12.5. You that bet will hit. That will bet. iTag, what's up, brother? I'm staying 3 hours today. I always go Eastern time 4 to 7, Pacific time 1 to 4. I'm not sure what part of the country, or you could be in a different part of the world. And then I will be live 5:10 Pacific time, 8:10 Eastern time for Monday Night Football. But hey, listen, if I miss your question, I know I get behind. I know I rant a little bit. You can always drop a comment below. you can DM me on either Instagram or X, Twitter, whichever one you want to call it, or you can go old school and just email me, dantalksfootball@yahoo.com, and I'll get back to you. Full disclosure, if you message me tonight, I may not get back to you till tomorrow. But drop a comment in if you have a specific question. But I'll be live right after this live stream. I'm going to take about an hour break, and I'm going to come back and do the Chiefs and Chiefs and Saints. So Aiden says, thank you so much for telling me to trade Ramondre. You helped me out majority. I won my week from that trade. Those wicks for Ramondre. Hey, listen, it was funny because when they benched Ramondre, it was only the first play of the game. Ramondre is a guy you want to start. I mean, there's some problems with the Saints, but yeah. Or I'm sorry, some problems with the Patriots, but yeah, I'm glad. I'm trying to get people to win their fantasy football leagues. I'm doing everything possible. So yeah, he's been banged out. He's been banged up, but Travis Etienne, when he does play, even when the offense has struggled, he's been putting up some nice fantasy numbers. If you have Etienne, I would hold on to him. But yeah, I do think, I do believe that Alvin Kamara does have a big game. I really believe that. I think he'll catch some passes. I think he'll have some rushing yards. It may not be a massive game. I also think that he will score sometime tonight. I'm kind of thinking that. Chris Olave, I got a feeling is going to have a good game. That's a guy I just have a major man crush on. Hopefully the Saints defense looks bad, but even though Saints have a good defense, I do expect Kansas City to score. And because of that, I do expect some Saints players to put up some offense. It's just a question who. I think Kamara's going to have a good game. Hopefully not a great game. And I also think that Chris Olave is going to be productive. One thing about the Chiefs is that they got really good corner in Trent McDuffie. They really don't have a number 2 corner. So one of these receivers is going to have a decent game. I do think one of these receivers is going to have a decent game. I'm banking on Olave because he can play inside, outside. I think that they may get a little creative, use him in the slot. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of. Yes. God, won by 3 points. Wait a minute, your opponent's not playing anybody tonight. Please tell me no. Yeah, I get I get the business for ranting. I try to answer everything, and I do go on rants, but I'm trying to answer everything accordingly. So Aiden says, also to everyone saying he takes forever on answers. I appreciate that so much about Dan putting all this effort into every question. Just chill back and listen to his input. I will try not to rant so much going on, but yeah. Speaking of going on and on and on, I am going to take a very quick commercial break. When I come back, I'll be back with hour 2 of Afternoon Delight, so stay tuned. As we go in commercial break, do not forget we are live for Monday Night Football. We will do live play-by-play and reaction for Chiefs Saints. Join the fun where all questions are answered and anything goes. We are starting to stream at 8:10 Eastern Time, 5:10 Pacific. Link is in the description below. Join the fun for Monday Night Football. I can't wait to see you there. The award-winning NFL Week 6 video is out tomorrow, 1 Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time. Make sure you hit that notification bell to inform you when the video is being released. Make sure you check it out. It's going to be awesome. As Afternoon Delight takes a commercial break, we remind you that BetUS is a proud affiliate. The video in the description below shows how easy and fast it is to collect your bonus. Click on the link in the description below and start winning today. Yes! Hour one is in the books, and hour one is in the books, and what a great hour it was too. I got hour two coming up. At the top of hour three, you're going to get a special treat. You have Keaton from Keaton Talk Sports. He's going to join the fun. Really excited about hour three about Keaton with Keaton Talk Sports, but this hour two is still going to be great. Lots of stuff to talk about. I haven't even really gone into the games and everything, but I want to answer any and all questions. I think he is. I really think that Kareem Hunt's motivated. He was in his best situation here in Kansas City. Andy Reid used him the right way. I mean, this was kind of an interesting player coming out of the University of Toledo. Wasn't used in the passing game till his senior season. Really worked hard at it. His first NFL touch was a fumble. Then the Chiefs kept him in the game, set an NFL rookie record at over 230 total yards against the Patriots to start the season on Thursday Night Football. I was in Vegas for the very first time. I put a lot of money on that game because they had the Chiefs to cover 9. The Chiefs got 9 points, and everybody was like, "Oh, you're nuts! You're I was like, 9 points, and the Chiefs are really good season openers. The Patriots traditionally aren't. Like this is a good game to bet on. Made a lot of money in Vegas my very first time, and a lot of that was because Kareem Hunt just blew up. I mean, his first matter of fact, his first season in the league was amazing, and he would have had a nice career here in Kansas City. Kareem Hunt fits this offense perfectly. He's a big back with receiving ability. The Chiefs don't really need a home run threat at running back. They really just need somebody to kind of move the sticks. And Kareem Hunt's perfect for that. Kareem Hunt fits Kansas City awesome. It was a very unfortunate incident that he, very unfortunate incident that happened. I'll just say let's just do this. Let's just say that, hey, I'm glad you learned from it. But as a Chiefs fan, I would like to see him say, you know what, I don't need a lot of money. Let me just stay here in Kansas City and sign something like a 3-year, $10 million deal. Something really, by NFL standards, relatively cheap. And just like, hey, look, I'll stay in Kansas City. I will keep my nose clean. And yeah, that's what I'd like to see. But honestly, he'll probably parlay this into a contract with another team. Perry says Watson got paid. He doesn't care anymore. He got paid win or lose. Brian's hope there. The Browns themselves trading and signing him to a big deal. Why Watson didn't want to go to the Browns. I don't know about that. I really don't. I will say this, like his body language looks terrible. I don't know if he's just frustrated with the situation. I mean, bad offensive line play. I don't know if I can't vouch if he wanted to be there, didn't want to be there. I will say this is that it's just not working. And I really thought that, well, here's the deal. I'm not buying into Washington being this dominant NFC team. I'm not. The defensive production the last couple of weeks, I'm not buying. I think there's still holes on that defense. I think that they're a team that when everything's said and done, they're not going to win the NFC East. I love the fact that they're 4-1. It's a great story. It's very entertaining. I haven't even talked about Jayden Daniels for NFL MVP. Legitimate story. They got to do some things different. If I was Cleveland, I would do the same thing that Denver did. By the way, Denver's 3-2. Nobody's talking about that. I haven't seen Denver Gator come to gloat, even though he predicted it. Bo Nix looked fantastic, by the way. They're paying Russell Wilson, it's like, what, $48 million to ride the bench in Pittsburgh? Remember, Philly paid Bo Nix, or I'm sorry, they paid Carson Wentz like $40-some million to be the quarterback with the Colts. There's lots of quarterbacks that just it doesn't work out. Here's the thing though with Cleveland is, unlike a lot of these other teams that got rid of their quarterbacks. I mean, Philly did have Jalen Hurts in the wings, and they're like, hey, we're going to roll the dice, and if it doesn't work out, we have the draft capital we'll use. The way Philly did it was really good, because if it did pan out with Hurts, well, you signed to a big-time deal, and you move forward. If it didn't, you had a lot of draft capital that you could fall back on. I'm drawing a blank on the other quarterback I mentioned. Oh yeah. I literally forgot the guy I was mentioning. Maybe I do need another energy drink. I want to tell you I'm jacked up. Like I'm super jacked up. I mean, my Chiefs have a chance to go 5-0 before the bye. After the bye, schedule gets really tough. Andy Reid, since he's been in Kansas City, has had a 5-game winning streak every single year. I really thought that if we could get by the Bengals, I really thought we'd go 5-0. So I'm pretty jacked up about that. My point. Oh, Russell Wilson. I'm sorry, Russell Wilson and Carson Wentz. Okay. With Denver, you're just hoping your guy was available. Nobody thought Bo Nix was really worth 12th pick in the draft. It's looking really good right now. I mean, the defense is playing good. There's a lot. I'm surprised Denver Gators not here talking trash, but yeah, if you're Cleveland, here's the deal. You got Jameis Winston, who's got all the ability in the world. Remember, Dorian Thompson-Robinson looked really good in preseason, played a little bit. He's not a bad. By the way, for the offense Stefanski wants to run, Dorian Thompson-Robinson can do that. A high running offense, but instead they said, hey, listen, we got Deshaun Watson. We'll do his offense. We'll spread everything out. And it's not working. Let me ask you this. You're the Raiders. All right, I'm throwing this out there because I'm here in Vegas. Is it better to roll the dice in the draft, or can you work out a deal and throw a 4th-round pick to Cleveland? Cleveland eats a lot of that contract, by the way. Cleveland would eat that deal. It wouldn't be the Raiders or whatever team Deshaun Watson gets traded to. Why not give up 4th and say, hey, look, we'll roll Deshaun Watson because what we have isn't working? Would that work? Which team would say no? I mean, the Raiders are in a terrible spot right now. I don't know. Also happy when they checked Watson out on the sideline. Teams got in a fight and everyone got in Watson's face. Serves up. If Davis is smart, he would let Lewis take. Okay. I think he means if Al Davis was, or Mark Davis was smart, he would let Marvin Lewis take over as head coach. That's interesting. That was Watson. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. If Allen goes down, the Bills are picking high in the draft. It might be better if it's a long term. One thing about Buffalo is that they decided, and I wasn't sure how this was going to work. They were going to go really young on defense. They were going to get rid of a lot. The only reason they didn't get rid of Von Miller was because of the contract and how much money. But of course, he's on a 4-game suspension. this is a really good draft for defensive players. And I think that what Buffalo is doing long term is they're saying that we're going to find out who can play, who can't. And then we're just going to keep building through the defense because we have our superstar quarterback. The offensive line is really good. We have a really good running back. We have Dalton Kincaid, and then Shakir, somebody they can build off of. I think you could always go with a free agent receiver, then build through the draft that wide receiver. Maybe they want to draft a receiver in round 1 or 2, and then come back and do the defense. But I'm just telling you right now, like I understand what the Bills are doing, but the Allen injury scares me. If he doesn't play, they are in a lot of trouble because of the way that here's the deal. When Allen goes down, when you have any running quarterback, okay, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Jayden Daniels, when those guys go down, when you bring in the backup quarterback, same thing with the Colts. Did you watch? I don't know if you saw the Colts-Jags game. The Colts just became a massive pass-happy team versus a heavy run-heavy team because you have Joe Flacco in there. You can do that. The offense opens up. But you have to change the offense around, okay? The Kansas City Chiefs, for example, what they do is when they like older veteran backup quarterbacks that understand the NFL offensive scheme so that if heaven forbid, Mahomes goes down, you can put a backup there and he can do about 80 to 90%. You don't have to change the playbook. If Josh Allen goes down, you have to bring in a whole new playbook. Lamar Jackson goes down, you have to bring in a whole new playbook. One of the things is that Joe Burrow went down last year. They didn't change anything. And Browning actually looked pretty good for a while out there. Is he doing 390 and 5 touchdowns? No, he's not. But remember, he had a couple 300-yard games. So, yeah, it's a big problem. That's why I don't like, if I'm the Buffalo Bills, I want to have Josh Allen running the ball a lot less. Because if you do bring him out, you have to change everything in your offense. Everything. Or that if you have a veteran backup quarterback and you don't have a lot of designed quarterback runs, I can run basically the same offensive scheme. I can run the same audibles. I can run the same checkdowns. I can get to the line of scrimmage. A lot of NFL teams, what they do is they run 2 plays in the huddle. They call 2 plays in the huddle. Then they just run 1. If you're a backup quarterback, you're barely trying to figure out what to do on play 1, let alone play 2. You can't really do that. If you're a team that runs an offense like Buffalo, you definitely can't do that because you're running a whole new playbook. It's confusing just for the players on that are not the quarterback. So yeah, it's a problem. I picked Dallas to win, but the Steelers were favored. Cowboys had a lot of injuries. Cowboys also lost the turnover battle, 3-0. I'd say a minor one, but I did pick Dallas to win. It was a minor upset. Really, really, really fun game to watch. Really, really fun game to watch. Steve Wilkes is out there. He's an excellent defensive coordinator. Oh, that would be a nice fit in Cincinnati, actually. Yeah. I that's another thing is that I don't care. Aaron Rodgers, I was just talking about the way the team responds around Deshaun Watson. They talked about this on the Thursday night broadcast that Aaron Rodgers didn't interact with anybody on the team. He just went to the bench and he was talking with his offensive coordinator, and that was it. And I didn't watch the Hard Knocks with the Jets. Like I didn't see Aaron Rodgers. I know Aaron Rodgers loves his offensive coordinator. I don't think him and Saleh get along. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think if yes, nose is itching big time now. God, I promise you I'm not doing any drugs. It's just really super itchy right now. I think if you asked Robert Saleh without cameras and without any negative effects, it's like, hey, do you wish Aaron Rodgers was here? I guarantee you he would say no. I think he would love to go with Tyrod Taylor. I think he would love to go with another option. I'll be honest. And by the way, if I'm a Jets, like, if I was a head coaching candidate, would I really want to go to New York and deal with that? I seriously, you may have to promote the offensive coordinator just because I don't know if I'd want to take that job. I don't think it's a good situation. That said, the Jets beat the Bills next week. They're in first place. That's not an exaggeration. The Jets beat the Bills next week. They are in first place, even if Miami wins. Even if Miami wins, because they hold the tiebreakers, and Miami has a bye, so yeah, they would be in first place. So if the Jets on Monday night, by the way, here's how crazy of an NFL season it is. The Jets beat the Bills on Monday night. The Jets are in first place in the NFC East. How crazy is that? How crazy is that? Aiden, I'm a Vikings fan. This defense is so freaking awesome. That plus Sam dropping passes into breadbasket makes me feel so good. I saw dark circles in their eyes. Jet. Oh yeah. The London games. I understand why the NFL wants to do it. I do think that sooner or later, there will be an NFL team, and I know the NFL wants to go international. I do think sooner or later there could very well be a team in London. But yeah, the jet lag. It's funny. I just moved to Las Vegas from Kansas City, several months ago, but it was this year. I've been to Vegas several times. I've only flown twice. I hate the fly. It sucks because there's several European countries that I would love to visit. But I despise flying with a passion. I do. It was funny. I'm going to go back to Kansas City, and I would rather drive. It's just under 1,400 miles. I would rather drive 20 hours than fly 3. I'm a nut job though, but the defense is for real. I seriously, if I'm the Vikings, I try really hard to keep Sam Darnold. But we'll have to find out. Yeah, Jags didn't take Hutchinson. Jacksonville should have took Hutchinson. Keaton will be on. He'll be on hour 3. Yeah. Hey man, thank you so much, man. I hope that you're maybe you're drinking. No, I had a really bad side effect Saturday, so I probably need to quit sooner or later. All right, Dan, who do you get moved at the trade deadline? There's always a surprise. Last year there was a lot of players. I do think there will be a surprise candidate, but let's be honest. I think it's going to happen sooner than the trade deadline, but I think Amari Cooper is going to get moved. I think Dallas would be the perfect spot to have Amari Cooper come back. I think he'd rather be in Dallas and be the number 2 guy than be in Cleveland and be the number 1 guy. There's all sorts of problems in Cleveland. I mean, they lead the NFL in drop passes. I mean, that's a problem. But I mean, the way everybody's kind of moping around, just get rid of Cooper. And you, by the way, you may have to get some picks because maybe you do want to move on from Watson. But I think Amari Cooper will be moved, and I think he'll be in Dallas. I mean, Devontae Adams is not going to be a Raider too much longer. Talks are the Saints, where you could go back with Derek Carr. That would be an interesting situation. The Jets is maybe a much more likely scenario. I mean, he threw the ball. Aaron Rodgers threw the ball 54 times, and I swear 20 of them. I don't know the exact numbers. So it was like 20 to Garrett Wilson. He isn't one to throw to anybody else. I think I seriously. By the way, if the Jets win Monday Night Football, they're in first place. I can see a move where the Jets try to go all in, and then if it doesn't work, blame Robert Saleh. So Knicks is I cannot tell you how impressive Bo Nix is. Forget the stats, forget the numbers. The one big difference between Bo Nix and Jayden Daniels and Caleb Williams is Bo Nix is running a legit NFL offense. They're running college type offenses in Chicago and Washington, and you can do it for a year. You can do it for a year. It's not sustainable long term. But you're building. And by the way, for those of you who are telling me Jayden Daniels is an NFL MVP, I'll get behind. Let's get behind that argument, and they are. He is a legitimate NFL MVP. That's a college type of offense, and it's not sustainable long term. It's really not. By the way, I'm looking at the box score. Well, I'll pull it up right now. Not the box score, but I'll pull up his stats. Okay. 16 carries, 88 yards, week 1. It was a loss. Last week, 11 carries, 82 yards, and getting sacked 3 times in a 34-13 win. That's not sustainable for long-term success. It's really not. I mean, he is, in my opinion, he's might be the NFL MVP. I was trying to debate on this because I don't want to say a rookie's an NFL MVP, but the one thing I will say is that even though he's having a lot of success, that's a college offense he's running. You can do that maybe for this year. You can't do it going forward. He has to learn more NFL concepts. He has to run the ball less. But, I mean, kudos what he's doing. Bo Nix is running an NFL offense, and he's just getting better and better and better. And the sky's the limit with Bo Nix. The sky is the limit because Javonte Williams finally had a really good game. They got some players. Remember, they're giving Russell Wilson like $47 million too. So, yeah. Yeah, Bo Nix is really, really impressive. It would not surprise me if 5 years from now we're laughing that Bo Nix isn't the best quarterback out of this draft. It wouldn't surprise me if Bo Nix surpasses both Caleb Williams and Jayden Daniels by such a big margin that we're like going, hey, by the way, remember Andrew Luck surpassed RG3 very fast in that battle, but Robert Griffin III was, he was the guy that was rookie of the year. He was the one that was getting all the hype. He was the one that was generating all that excitement. Then he got hurt because he was running too damn much. So, yeah, my nose is itchy. I quit, and then I moved out to Vegas, and I'm drinking a lot. I'm trying to do this show full time, and I'm trying to work full time, and I need to cut down. No lie, but I got another one, and trust me, I really don't need it. I just popped my second one of the day. Trust me, Perry, I really don't need it. Oh, Funk, welcome, brother. You know what? And we have no idea how good Penix or the guy in Minnesota, McCarthy. We have no idea either one of those guys look. We have no idea. Yeah, no idea. I'll tell you what. I think right now it's a no-brainer that they got the third best. To me, it's not even close. I can argue. Jayden Daniels is an NFL MVP candidate. Let's be very clear. I can argue that I'm more impressed with how Bo Nix is playing because Bo Nix is running an NFL offense. He's running NFL concepts. That dude is blowing me away. What they're doing in Washington is really good. They're running a college type of offense, and it's wildly successful. It's not sustainable long term, and I don't want my rookie quarterback running that much, because I did the same thing with RG3 and it didn't work. But it's so cool that Washington's 4-1. I don't think it's a maybe at all, Funk. I think it's no question, and it wouldn't surprise me if in 5 to 10 years from now they're wondering why they didn't take Nix, Daniels, Penix, or maybe even McCarthy. Of course, Minnesota has an interest. But let me ask you this here. Let me ask you this. I know you're biased. I know you're a Lions fan, but if you're Minnesota, do you just get rid of Sam Darnold? He signed a 1-year deal. I mean, you just say, hey, thanks for the memories, but remember they let Case Keenum go after his NFL MVP contract. They brought in Cousins, and what would you do? Curious. Denver Gator! Oh man. The defense was good. Javonte Williams was good. It's so funny that after the Raiders beat Baltimore, they called Gardner Minshew the second coming of the snake. Me and you are longtime football fans. We know how blasphemous that is. One of the greatest players, and nobody scored more off the field than Snake. I mean, there's maybe 2 or 3 guys. I heard stories about the Snake, like it was crazy. Like the Snake, one of my all-time favorite players. To call Gardner Minshew's second coming to the Snake was insulting. Forced them to bench the Snake. Yeah. Defense is looking fantastic. Remember, Carolina chose was it Jason Horn? Is that right? JC, is it JC Horn over Surtain? I remember saying that it was a mistake. Me and you both agree Surtain would look way better in Chiefs red. Way better in Chiefs red. Wow. 3-2 and looking good. Bo Nix is playing out of his mind. Yeah, I think you do it. By the way, you know who else is in cap hell? The Denver Broncos. After they got rid of Russell Wilson. That's not bad. I mean, there's a couple different ways. I mean, if you're Cincinnati, I kind of like what they're doing. Like, hey, we're going to add, roll some dice. We're going to roll the dice in the draft, and try to outscore you. I thought for a while that's what Buffalo was going to try to do. Then it looks like this year they were going to do the opposite. I think the Buffalo Bills kind of like are going to take this year to just kind of rekey. It's like, look, we got the quarterback. We have some good defensive pieces. What else do we need? But, one thing about the Kansas City Chiefs is that I don't think gets enough credit is how good their defense is. The Chiefs' defense is amazing. I saw a stat that the Chiefs haven't given up 30 points in something like 28 games, and no other team has a 12-game streak. But Kansas City has like a 28-game streak. The defense is for real, and I mean, every single NFL dynasty is the same. Hall of Fame quarterback, dominant defense. Packers in the 60s, one of the greatest defenses of all time. Bart Starr, Super Bowl MVP, 1 and 2 Hall of Famer. Underrated, by the way, Bart Starr. Bradshaw. You can argue if how good of a quarterback Bradshaw is. First quarterback to throw for 300 yards in a Super Bowl. First quarterback to throw for 4 touchdowns in a Super Bowl. Same Super Bowl. Outdueled Roger Staubach in Super Bowl 13. Is it 13 or 14? Yeah, I think it's 13. Greatest Super Bowl, maybe the greatest Super Bowl of all time, 35-31 victory over Dallas and the Doomsday defense. By the way, Dallas beats Pittsburgh in either one of those Super Bowls. They could call themselves a dynasty. Doomsday defense, Roger Staubach. But, I mean, Terry Bradshaw, Steel Curtain, probably the greatest defense of all time. In the 80s, you have Joe Montana and a really underrated but very good 49ers defense led by Ronnie Lott. But, I mean, they had a lot of really good defensive players in there. One really, really, really great defense. They had some really great defensive teams in the 80s, really overlooked because of Joe Montana and everything. 90s, Troy Aikman, Hall of Fame. I'll be honest with you, when I go back and I look at the Dallas Cowboys in the 90s, statistically, really great units, a lot of really good players, except for Deion Sanders, who was at the end of that dynasty. I'm trying to think. I think Charles Haley came over. I'm drawing a blank. I don't know if Charles Haley got there in 93 or 94. But yeah, Charles Haley and Deion Sanders only Hall of Famers. But the defense, if you go back and you look at that, I'm telling you right now, Dallas had a really, really, really good defense. Really good defense. Not littered with Hall of Famers like the Packers and the Steelers. But they did. 2000 and 2010 to 20 year, I think, 2001 to 2019. Bill Belichick, great defensive-minded coach, tons of great defensive players. Several of them will be in Hall of Fame sooner or later. And Tom Brady. And you're seeing the same thing. Chris Jones, I was thinking about this because there's a lot of great defensive players on the Kansas City Chiefs. You have Derek Thomas, Willie Lanier, Bobby Bell, Buck Buchanan. I can argue when everything's said and done, Chris Jones will be the greatest defensive player in Chiefs history. That's saying a lot. And he's going into Canton one day. So if you're an AFC team and you want to be the next in line, you got to have a good defense. And this coming up draft's loaded with draft players and loaded with really, really good players. I think the Ravens are going to look at a lot. It would not surprise me if the Ravens draft several defensive guys. And it wouldn't surprise me if the Bills do the same. So. Three and 2. I mean, very impressive win against Tampa Bay. Beating the Raiders at home, I thought it wasn't that they beat the Raiders, it's how they beat them. They were down 10-0. Here's what really impressed me is that you have a rookie quarterback. You have a team that probably isn't projected to do pretty well. Nobody panicked. It was like, hey, we're down 10-0. Yeah. Bo Nix comes out there and does everything. I mean, the defense, the pick six was amazing. But when I watched that game, and the Raiders are no good. The Raiders are not a good team. Bowers looks good. They got some really solid players on defense. You watch Luke Getsy be the offensive coordinator in Chicago. I'm pretty sure you knew. I knew it wasn't going to work. It would not surprise me if Antonio Pierce is fired. It really wouldn't at the end of the year. I 100% believe that you had to bring him on as the coach, but it looks bad. They were down early. They didn't panic and then just put their foot on the throat. I mean, they did not let up. I think they're good now. They're 3-2. Are they a threat? Let's just have some fun. Say the worst thing in the world happens and the Chiefs lose on Monday night and they're one game back of the Chiefs. Are they a threat in the AFC West this year? No, they are not. Are they a threat going forward? 100%. I don't know if it's next year or just this year that they have to eat that Russell Wilson contract, but going forward, like they just added to this team. They got their quarterback. The defense is really good. And here's the scary thing. They actually have playmakers on offense. They really do. This is a good team right now. It really is. Are they a threat to Kansas City? No, let's not go there. But not because I'm a fan. Let's just be honest. The Chiefs are a Super Bowl contender. Denver's a wild card contender. There's different levels. Next year, could we be talking about Denver being a Super Bowl caliber team? Yeah. Take a look at the Houston Texans. 4-1. I think they're a Super Bowl contender. That's kind of what you're looking at. You might need to add an offensive weapon or two, but Denver's legit good now. And next year they're the team that like I'm looking at in the AFC West and I'm like, oh shit. I could be saying the same thing about the Chargers. I think the Chargers will take maybe a year. But yeah. Glad to see you, man. I'm so glad to see him. A little love here. Yeah, I think they're good now. By the way, that's going to be a fun game. That is going to be a fun game. Dallas, Detroit, in Big D. Fun game. Yeah, I like Tyler Huntley. I really, really, really do. I really, really like him, but you just brought him in off the. I mean, if you started the whole off season with Huntley, I think you'd have a lot more production. But you know, you're not there. I'll be honest, even with Tua there, I'm not even sure Miami's a playoff team. I mean, the defense isn't good. Tyreek Hill, I don't care what they say about him. I mean, I think he's a guy that like kind of like it's kind of funny. One of the things that the Kansas City Chiefs, they want high effort, high energy guys, mainly because they want a good locker room. They want a good culture. One thing about the Chiefs, they get down early. They don't panic. That was the number one thing. I watched that Denver Raiders game. They got down. Nobody panicked. Nobody had their head down. Tyreek Hill to me, I just don't think is that good locker room guy. I think he's more of a me guy. Like, hey, I need my touches, win or lose, as long as I get my touches. It's hard to say. It's hard to say, but when you got rid of a lot of your defensive studs, I'll be honest, I didn't think Tua would last the whole year. I said that in my AFC East video. I should have done all 8 divisions. I didn't get a chance to, but I did do the AFC East. I said that if Tua played 17 games, Miami would probably make the playoffs, but he won't, and they won't. So. The Pats are young, and yeah, and you know what the best part is that this draft is exactly what New England needs. You have some really good offensive linemen, and you have a lot of defensive players. And I do think that they should go all in on both. And you're going to say, Dan, they need help at skill position. I said, yeah, they do. I would go through free agency and I would say, look, we have this really good defense. We're building something really good. We're fixing the offensive line. And here's the thing. A lot of people feel like they need a top end guy. I really don't. I thought what they did with Juju Smith-Schuster made sense. It's just I understand those injury issues and that they wanted to go young. Polk, I think, is a decent guy. Hunter Henry's not bad. I would try to upgrade the offense through free agency in the skill position, but this draft is you have a really good opportunity to fix up the offensive line in this draft. And you also have a good chance to really improve, which is already a really good defense. This defense is really good. It's just this offense struggles. But I really think that there's a lot of talk that Drake may get some playing time. Jacoby Brissett's just getting the snot kicked out of him. I mean, he earned every penny, but yeah. Oh, 100%. Perry says if Allen is out, the Jets should be a top team in the AFC East. Absolutely. Yeah, Kingsbury did the same thing with Murray, and Murray got better, and that's what I'm actually, to be honest with you, I expect Cliff Kingsbury to leave after this year and be one of these head coaching candidates somewhere else. And I expect them to say, if you're a team that's going to draft a quarterback, and if you haven't been paying attention, Cam Ward with University of Miami's been doing some really fun stuff. His draft stock's just going up. Let's say you're going to draft somebody like Cam Ward, and let's just use that as an example. And I need a young quarterback, but I got the rest of my team set up. Looking at you, New York Giants. That's the guy I want as my head coach. He may just say, you know what? I'm getting paid a lot of money with Washington. For those of you that don't know, Kingsbury's dating some she's now I don't think she's an OnlyFans, but she's like a supermodel. He's dating some supermodel right now that made all sorts of news. But yeah, he's dating some supermodel. I hope she's not an OnlyFans girl. Hey, listen, I'm making millions. I'm dating an OnlyFans model. I get to work with Jayden Daniels. Maybe I'll just hang out here. I don't know. I can't speak for him. He might be happy just hanging out and damn, an hour 45 in this show just drew a blank. Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn's a defensive guy. He's not messing with the offense. Maybe he's just like, hey, here's your office. You do whatever you want. I'm going to just kick back and, work with the defense. You do whatever you want on offense. He's getting paid a lot of money. I don't know what his contract is. Maybe he's happy. But if I'm an NFL team and I'm drafting a quarterback and I need a new head coach, New York Giants, that's what I'm at least interviewing him. But you're right. And by the way, sky's the limit with what Jayden Daniels can do. They're running a college offense, which is not sustainable. But if you watch, they did the same thing with Kyler Murray. Then they just started incorporating more NFL concepts. Part of it was injuries, and I think part of it was Kyler Murray. But I don't think you have that issue with Jayden Daniels. I really don't. Man, Denver Gator, man. Sup, Perry, Funk, and the other hardcores in the chat. Hope my crew is doing good. I hope you are doing good, Denver Gator. I know. I know. Yeah, I'm not a fan of starting rookie quarterbacks, but there's some Jacoby Brissett. I think all the punishment's starting to get to him. The offense is bad. Keaton Talk Sports is going to join in a little bit. He's a diehard Patriots fan. We'll find out what he's going to say, but yeah. I'm going to ask him about it. Denver beat Kansas City for like the first time in like I think it's like 16 or 17 contests. It was the longest streak in NFL history, and Russell Wilson had a great game. And I don't think Denver's going to be a threat for Kansas City this year, but going forward, I do think they will. They are. Dave, what's up, brother, man? Man, sorry it took so long to get to your question, but hey, Dan, I'm looking to move on from Javonte Williams. I'm trying to trade with my buddies. Team options are Garrett Wilson, Pittman, Bucky Irvin, Brock Bowers, Mark Andrew Sutton. He needs one running back. Okay, well, first off, do you have to? I mean, okay, let's just say you're dead set on moving Williams. Okay. Just asking if you have to because he had a good game. There's some upside, but let's just say you have to. Okay. What is your biggest need? Okay. Because, I mean, that's what I would do. First of all, Garrett Wilson had a great game. I do think the Jets might make a move for Devontae Adams. And if that's the case, Wilson's numbers are going to go way down. I love Pittman's upside with Flacco. That's your answer right there. Sutton's production's going to keep going up. I unfortunately think Andrew's production's going down, and Bowers is very solid. Bucky Irving's a guy that I was adamant wasn't going to be used as much. The offense looks so much better with Irving in there. I don't know how you don't leave him in there, but it's a defensive-minded coach. So I would say you have one of three. My question to you is, what do you need the most? If you have a hole at tight end, I would make a move for Bowers. If you have a hole at receiver, you want to go with Wilson or Pittman. And here's okay. So your tight end is okay. All right. Well, here's the deal. Don't trade him for defense. I would do okay. Here's your option. With Sutton, the production's probably going to go up. Pittman, if Flacco starts, way up. Garrett Wilson at the end of the year is going to be a 1,000-yard receiver. He's not going to. The amount of targets was crazy. Once Devontae Adams comes in, it's going to be split, and I do think it's going to come. So, if you want to roll the dice, and the payoff could be awesome, I would go with Pittman, because if Flacco stays as the starting quarterback, Pittman will eventually be the number one guy. I know Pierce did well. Josh Downs got the most receptions. I think Pierce got the most yards. And then when Jonathan Taylor comes back, he's going to get the majority of it. I mean, he's going to touch the ball quite a bit. They were a high passing team when Jonathan Taylor comes back. They're going to be a high running team. Now, keep in mind, if they force Anthony Richardson into that starting lineup, you just threw that away. If you move on from Javonte Williams and you just want to replace him with a running back, I don't have too much of a problem with Bucky Irving, but just keep in mind you have a defensive-minded coach. I normally doesn't want to play rookies, but the offense just looks so much better with Bucky Irving in. And I'm a huge Rachaad White guy. I feel like I'm giving you 5 different answers. So, if you want to be conservative, you have to move on from go with Garrett Wilson. If you want to go with Bowers, you can. I would not make a move for Andrews. Kohler clearly can play just as well. I mean, I actually think Andrews might be moved at the trade deadline. You never know. But they're phasing him out. I mean, look, Father Time's undefeated. So don't do that. Bowers, if he stays healthy, could have a monster year for whoever's playing quarterback with the Raiders. But I mean, Garrett Wilson right now is the number one dude. Garrett Wilson is right now the number one dude, but I firmly believe Vontae Adams will be there sooner than later. So if you want to roll the dice, do it with Pittman. If you want a little more steady consistency, I'd go with Wilson. Kind of your call. You could also, because I'm looking at this statement here: tight end, defense, and receiver. That's why I would pull for either Wilson or Pittman. By the way, Bowers would be a nice upgrade. But again, do you really have to trade Williams? But I mean, you can't trade Williams and get two. I mean, and I don't want you to do that. But if you have to move Javonte Williams, if you want to roll the dice with potential, go with Pittman. My opinion. You want some steady production, go with Garrett Wilson. Even though last week's production, you won't see that again. You can go with Bowers as well, and that would be solid. So, I mean, what's a bigger hole, tight end or receiver? Another thing about Bowers is keep in mind you have a weird quarterback situation, and teams once they move, and Adams didn't play last week. Teams could eventually just be focusing on Bowers. That's why I would kind of lean towards either Wilson or Pittman, but that would be my opinion. Let me ask you this here: the guy that's trading, do you have an idea of which one he likes the least best? I always approach trades like a negotiation, and I want you to get the best pot. There was a guy came in last week. I don't know if you remember this. A guy came in last week. And he's like, "Well, I want to be fair to my coworker." And I'm like, "F that. Get the most you can. Win your league." And then be gracious in victory. Don't be one of those guys rubbing it in. What does he want? Like Perry says, go for Bowers and Irving. That's actually not a bad idea. Is this guy? You find. I always say, I would reach out to him and say, look, man, I don't think Javonte, whatever you want to do. I'd just say, hey, look, Javonte Williams is for sale. What do you think? And I always try to lowball, but don't be a jerk. But seriously, Bowers and Irving is not bad. But I know you said receiver. I'll be honest with you. I depending on his team, but if he has Wilson and Pittman and Sutton, more than likely he wants to get rid of Pittman or Sutton, not Garrett Wilson. Maybe he hates the Jets. By the way, you might be able, if you do try to go for Wilson and he bucks, just say, dude, listen, Javonte Adams is going there. And he probably knows that. But that would be my suggestion is reach out and see what you can get. I would love it if you could get a 2-for-1, but you may not be able to do that. I don't feel like I answered your question, but I don't feel like I really answered your question, but let me know what the guy does or what you want to do. Because my goal is to help you win. So try to get the best possible trade. I'd be really hard pressed to think he'd move on from Garrett Wilson. Keep in mind, when Devontae Adams plays, his production is going to go down. But if you don't get Williams and you have a hole at receiver, Wilson's a guy right now is a number one dude. Pittman's potential is way higher. So, oh yeah. Matt Nagy, I think he's a good offensive coordinator. He got a little bit of backlash from Lions fans who think he's a terrible head coach with the Bears. I get that. Last year, followed the drops. He got some backlash, but no, I think he's an excellent offensive coordinator. But Steve Spagnuolo is one of the top 5 defensive coordinators in the league. Guy was an NFL head coach for several years. Just says, nah, I'm good being a defensive coordinator. I don't want to be a head coach. By the way, he's being paid very, very well in Kansas City. It would not surprise me if Steve Spagnuolo makes more than like the bottom 5 NFL head coaches. Would not surprise me one bit. They're paying him. They're giving him a lot. I don't know the exact contract, but this could change, but it is. Yeah. And by the way, you're giving them some great advice. Broncos dominated a big play to Brock, surprised. Then they scored the TD. Yeah, I stopped watching. Was 34-10. The TD was BS. I didn't even care about it. I just love the way the Broncos responded. They were down. Here's the deal: they were down 10-0. Nobody panicked. Nobody worried. And I loved it. You as a Broncos fan, you should be excited. The defense looks really good, and Bo Nix is. I can't. It's kind of funny because I thought Justin Herbert could have been an NFL MVP. I think under Harbaugh, they're going to be more of a running team. But you got 3 really good quarterbacks in the AFC West, and then you got whatever the Raiders are doing. So. I think next year you have legitimate issues with the Chiefs will have legitimate issues with both the Chargers and the Broncos. I really do. I really think the Chiefs have legitimate issues with the Chargers and the Broncos in 2025. Not this year. But next year, I'm looking at the Chargers and the Broncos as like, oh, crap. The Raiders have some things that they need to figure out, but they're doing some good things. So, So Perry emphasizes that Denver Gator as saying Kansas City versus Denver should be a good game, and Denver can give Kansas City a tough game on paper. I guarantee you. One thing is that because the Raiders beat Kansas City at Arrowhead on Christmas, and the Raiders and Denver beat Kansas City in Denver, Kansas City is not overlooking the Chargers or Raiders. I do think that Denver will give the Chiefs a tough time. I really do, but I'll be honest with you, I would be surprised, really surprised if Denver or the Raiders beat Kansas City this year. But I expect the games to be tough. I expect the Raiders to give Kansas City a tough. I'm not, I'm going to backtrack. I expect Denver to give Kansas City a tough time. Guys, I'm going to get to all your comments and questions. I'm going to take a quick commercial break. When I come back, we're back for hour 3 of Afternoon Delight. I fully expect Keaton from Keaton Talk Sports to join us. He hasn't joined yet, but I expect him to be up for hour 3. Stay tuned as I take a very fast commercial break. Be back quickly. As we go in commercial break, do not forget we are live for Monday Night Football. We will do live play-by-play and reaction for Chiefs Saints. Join the fun where all questions are answered and anything goes. We are starting to stream at 8:10 Eastern Time, 5:10 Pacific. Link is in the description below. Join the fun for Monday Night Football. I can't wait to see you there. The award-winning NFL Week 6 video is out tomorrow, 1 Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time. Make sure you hit that notification bell to inform you when the video is being released. Make sure you check it out. It's going to be awesome. As Afternoon Delight takes a commercial break, we remind you that BetUS is a proud affiliate. The video in the description below shows how easy and fast it is to collect your bonus. Click on the link in the description below and start winning today. All right, back for hour 3 of Afternoon Delight as promised. I got Keaton from Keaton Talk Sports. Keaton, what's up, brother?
How you doing, Dan? Thanks for having me on.
Oh man! Oh, first of all, can you show everybody it's Mac Jones, right?
Oh yeah, it's Mac Jones jersey.
Dude, I love the Patriots throwbacks. Like,
oh, yeah.
Those are
one of the best out there.
It is one of the best out there. Listen, Keaton, I have a ton of questions for you. I want to get going, but I'm hopeful you can do this here because I got some fantasy football questions I want to get through. Since we're on the final hour, let's kind of, if you don't mind, can we tag team these fantasy football questions?
Yeah.
Bounce them off of you because I got a lot of questions about Week 5. There's a lot of great games. I messaged you. I stayed up till 4 a.m. watching Sunday Night Football. Like,
that was a late game.
Oh my God! Yeah, but I want to make sure I get all these fantasy questions answered because these are some good ones. And then I got to ask you about everything that happened. What a wild week! What a wild week!
Indeed.
All right, Dave, your starting receivers are hurt right now. You got Cooper Kupp and Devontae Adams. Hopefully, you started Kraft. You got some good tight ends. And your wide receiver options right now, Addison, Pickens, Mooney, Wendell Robinson. I would go with either Addison or Pickens. That to me is kind of a no-brainer. Even though I love what Mooney's doing, I want to wait and see what I see. But your question was, if I can find it, I hit I hit something. Okay, so your question is you wanted to trade for one of those receivers, and then you can pick one of these up. Okay, so we answered the trade question. At least I hope I did. Dave, you can hit me up because you have some time between the week. Keaton, his options at wide receiver are Addison, Pickens, Mooney, and Wendell Robinson. I'm thinking you could play Dave. Is it 1 or 2 or I need a little more information, but out of these guys for fantasy football, which one do you think would be the best option going forward?
Honestly, looking at these four, between these four, I wouldn't go Pickens just because of the situation. And there's stuff going around Pittsburgh saying how, he's coming out as lazy in terms of his overall effort on the field. So I would not go with Pickens, just given the inconsistency with the Steelers offense. I would definitely go probably with Robinson just because the way Daniels is able to, the way he's playing right now, he's able to give the ball to his receivers more consistently than some of these other quarterbacks. So I would definitely go with Robinson, in my opinion, just based off of the quarterback situation.
So are you saying you're all in on Daniel Jones or?
Wait, what? Who?
You said Wendell Robinson would be your option because of
the. He plays for the Giants. Oh, he plays for the Giants.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Robinson on the Commanders. Okay, never mind.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, never mind. There's two Robinsons.
Yeah. No,
Okay,
because no, I was kind of surprised, but he did have a good game. If I remember right, he did have a good game. I have to take a look. So out of all the games I watched, this was the one that Wendell Robinson. Well, he did have a touchdown, 6 catches, 36 yards, and a touchdown. I don't know if you would call that good or not, but I mean,
maybe
depends on the league, but
maybe Addison, just because. I mean, the Vikings have. Yeah, I'll definitely go with Addison, just because of the quarterback. Like, I mean, Sam Darnold's not playing too bad right now, so I'll definitely roll with Addison.
all right. So so what? I'm looking. Hey, Dave, I'm a little confused here because you said that Perry asked if you could pick up anyone from the waiver wire, and these are guys I'm a little surprised are on the waiver wire. Oh, okay. No, it's not. No, it's not. I would think Addison's the best option. I love Mooney. I'm still not convinced that what they know what to do on offense. Pickens, the potential's there. I wasn't sure about. I knew that was an issue going into the year. I didn't know it's still an issue now. Keep in mind they may make a move with Russell Wilson. I kind of wanted to lean off. So, Dave, I want to make sure I answer your question, but I'm not really sure. It's because you say, can you pick up anyone? You said no. And then you're going to go with Jacobs and John. Those are solid running back options. It's just you're trying to pick up a receiver, but those aren't the ones that you mentioned here in this trade. Let me ask you this here, A. Keaton. Garrett Wilson, this is a tough one. Garrett Wilson or I can't believe I can't think of his first name, but Garrett Wilson or Pittman, the receiver for the Colts. Which one of these guys would be better options in a trade? That's a tough. I think it's a tough one.
That is a tough one. Pittman or Garrett Wilson? I mean, if you're talking about overall production, I probably would lean towards Pittman. Just because Garrett Wilson sometimes he was a bit inconsistent in that Vikings game. He didn't really got much. He didn't really do much in that game. So I mean, if you're asking me in terms of overall production, I'll definitely roll with Pittman over Wilson. But I mean, that's still a tough question. I mean, we can roll a dice of either one, but I think Pittman's a little bit better if you're talking about overall value.
Yeah, hey Dave, and by the way, I'm going to do everything I can to help you win your fantasy league, but I really want to dive into, since I got Keaton here, and we're going to dive into some of these questions that I have for him for what happened on the week. If you can clarify what, okay, here we go. I offered Javante's for Bowers and Irvin. He doesn't want to move on from Wilson. Smart. And then interested in Pittman. So both of us are really high on Pittman. The Bowers and Irving is smart. And since he doesn't want to move on from Wilson, 86 that. But Bowers and Irving, I think, would be a great trade because you get a running back. It's got, a lot of upside, and you don't want them. So keep in mind, Irvin is a good 3-down option. Bowers does improve your tight end room. You said you needed a tight end. You may be able to find a waiver wire guy at receiver. So keep us informed what goes on here. Keaton, what a wild week, man. This is just nuts.
Man, crazy. Pick'em has been insane. Like
I did terrible. I was hoping. So by the way, I talked a little bit of trash because I picked the Falcons, you picked the Bucks. And then I'm looking at these games, and I'm like, man, I don't. So here's where I'm at right now. And by the way, I'm doing the weenie thing where I'm giving myself the Jacksonville game because I picked Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. But I said in my video, if Flacco starts, my pick would change. But I'm not gonna take the Colts now because I picked Jacksonville on the video. But I thought Anthony Richardson was going to start. That's why I picked Jacksonville. But I'm still going to pick that. I'm 6-8. I'm going to double check this to make sure I'm right because I'm like, there's no way I can be 6-8.
Are you 6? I thought we were because I thought we were both tied 7 and 7.
You know what? No.
6 and 7 right now.
I can't do math. I'm 7 and 8. I'm right now. You know what? That can't be right. There's only with the bye weeks, there's only
there's 4 teams on the bye last week.
what? Okay, well, let's see here. I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm 7-7. I can't do math, so
Okay.
I'm 7-7 is where I'm at. So hopefully
Okay.
the Chiefs. I mean, nobody wants to see the Chiefs lose. It would just ruin everything. Nobody wants to see
game. That's gonna be a good game tonight. Looking forward to that.
It's going to be a great game. I'm super jacked up for it because I really want to see the Chiefs go 5-0 and be the only undefeated. So let me just like I don't even know where to begin here. Let's just do this here. Like what? Give me what excited you? What surprised you? What's the number one thing that stood out for you for Week 5 in the NFL?
Probably that Thursday night game. Oh yeah. I was not expecting that game to be high scoring what it was. I mean, both of us had I think we both had the same score, like a 20-17 prediction or something like that.
I had something like I think it was 2016. I thought it'd be a defensive. I thought Atlanta. The only reason I had Atlanta winning was because of the injuries, but I still was expecting a low scoring game.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an exciting game. I mean, especially towards the end there. I mean, Tampa had the ball. I think they were up like 30-20. Yeah, they were up like 30-27 under 3. And then I can't remember his name. I think someone fumbled it. And then that changed the whole complexity of that game. And then that was the last time Tampa Bay got the ball, which is crazy because Atlanta got the ball. They went down and tied the game, went to overtime. They won the toss. And then, they got the game-winning touchdown there. So it was like, damn. But it was an exciting game, and they play each other in 3 weeks, so it's gonna be something. I think that division is gonna be it's gonna come down to those teams. That's for sure.
Oh God! And what if the worst thing in the world happens and the Saints win tonight? Then you have 3 teams at 3-2. But here's what I would tell a Saints fan. Let's say you lose, and you're 2-3. You're only 1 game back of both these guys. And by the way, the Saints play the Bucks. I think it's the Bucks next week. I don't have it memorized yet, even though I have my picks already lined up for next week. I don't have it memorized. So this is a good question here. What are your thoughts on Kirk Cousins?
And he's definitely surprised me. I'm not really surprised with his play. I think if he was healthy, then he was going to show his full potential. He definitely came out and just balled out. I mean, he definitely went out there and did what he needed to do to help his team. And I think he's definitely, a lot of people thought he was washed up and didn't think he was the same player like he was in Minnesota. But he's definitely exceeded my expectations, that's for sure. And then I think, he obviously gives this team a best shot to win not only the division, but, I mean, can you look at this team as a potential Super Bowl team? I mean, we don't know. I mean, I think it's not out of the window. It's not out of the question.
I think the NFC is completely different than the AFC. To be honest with you, like I know Minnesota's 5-0. Like I'm not downgrading what the Vikings are doing, but in the NFC, I really think it's wide open. I really do. I mean, I think when the playoffs start, I really think anybody could get it done. I'm not downgrading the Vikings. I got a lot of Lions fans here. I'm not downgrading the Lions either. I really think it's wide open. And part of the reason why I say that is part of Perry's comment here. I want to talk about Sunday Night Football because I stayed up watching this game and I was like unfreaking believable because I was convinced Pittsburgh was going to win this game. Dallas wins a game on 4th down. Let me start off here with this here. I want to go the opposite though. I want to talk about the Steelers here. Justin Fields didn't play bad. Russell Wilson has a legitimate chance to come back. There was some talk that he may come back and be a starter here. What do you do if you're the Steelers here? Because, I mean, Fields didn't play bad, but you won the turnover battle 3-0. You kept Dallas to 20 points. Mm-hmm. I mean, do you want to move on and go to Russell Wilson? I mean, what do you think?
I don't think it makes sense to do that. I mean, especially now, you're 5 weeks into the season. Like, if you roll with someone, you kind of have to just roll with them and not switch up quarterbacks and make it more of an issue in the locker room. I mean, in my opinion, I said before Russell Wilson went to the Pittsburgh Steelers, like I thought the Falcons would have been a better fit for Wilson just because of the personnel that they have on that team. I didn't think Pittsburgh made a whole bunch of sense knowing that you brought in Justin Fields. I'm like, okay, well, Fields probably fits in to what the Steelers want to do right now more than Russell Wilson does. So it's like, I think Wilson's going to get traded, in my opinion, at the deadline. I don't see Pittsburgh rolling back with Wilson, especially like knowing that Fields obviously is I'm not saying he's the answer for them long term. Like he's not winning those Super Bowl, but for right now, he's a better fit for that offense than, in my opinion, than Russell Wilson.
Okay, that's kind of interesting. Because I've been adamant that you should just go with Fields, and I thought sooner or later Fields would be the starter. And then I'm watching that game last night, and I'm like, man, maybe they win that game with Russell Wilson. I'm almost thinking just the opposite, that you may want to go with Russell Wilson. I think that Pittsburgh, after this year's over, I think they move on from both guys and say, hey, we need to find our quarterback. Maybe they look at Sam Darnold.
It's just a matter of who they're going to – I mean, it's just a matter of who they're going to get. I mean, it depends on who's on the market, too. It's like what's quarterback is going to be out in free agency next year for them to get. Because they're not going to go in the draft, obviously. They're going to
who I think might make a lot of sense in Pittsburgh? You may laugh, but remember Arthur Smith had a lot of success with Ryan Tannehill. So you have a big quarterback with some running ability. A guy that I don't think has a future would be Daniel Jones with the Giants. I think you could get him draft-wise relatively cheap and just say, hey, look, we're going to give you a chance. And, because, I mean, there's some ability with Daniel Jones. He's not playing terrible.
Yeah.
I think the Giants, even though they won, which I predicted, by the way. I gotta get one. Bad year. I'm having a bad year, but I did get the Giants right. I could see that. I didn't buy into Seattle being good. If Seattle falls apart, Geno Smith, I think he's a free agent after this year or next year, something like that. But I mean, you could go a few other options if you're Pittsburgh if you don't want to go with a rookie, but but a rookie quarterback who could start sooner than later is somebody in your neck of the woods.
Oh yeah,
Drake May time. I mean, like, look, you're 1-4. I watched a lot of that game, and last week was the first time I watched the Patriots play it. I was like, they may need to make a change because not only is Brissett getting killed, he doesn't really look like I was always blaming the offensive line, but after watching them play the Dolphins, a team that I don't think has a good defense, you can argue the whole field.
Yeah, I mean, just like I said, I think it was going to happen sooner or later. I knew it. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be this early in the season. I thought it was going to be a little bit more later on. But, like, I mean, just Jacoby Brissett, like, I thought, he was a guy that's a veteran quarterback that, like, obviously he's not going to take us to the promised land. But it's like, I thought he would be more aggressive. The fact that he's out there, it's week 5 already. He's not being aggressive. Like, I mean, I know the offensive line isn't good. I can admit that as a fan. But it's like, he's had plenty. Like, there were times when he was in the pocket and the line did a decent job getting the protection. He still was either taking a sack or throwing the ball away. It's like, bro, you're not being aggressive. Like, it's just like, bro, put Drake May at least can use his legs and make something. And I think if Drake May was out there yesterday, I think he should have started yesterday, in my opinion. Against a team that,
you put up 15 points. You held Miami to 15 points.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
The defense isn't the reason we lost. I think we lost just because of the offense can't. I mean, we shot ourselves in the foot too. Like, the defense gave up. I think we had a blocked field goal and a blocked punt. So the special teams did their thing, and the offense wasn't able to get any points off of those turnovers. So it's like, and then the penalties as well. So it's like, we're not very disciplined on our side on that. But yeah, it's just, hopefully if Drake May comes in here, hopefully we can, turn around. I'm not gonna sit here and say I want to tank. I don't like hearing the tanking talk either. It's like,
to me,
it's just a bad mentality in terms of like if you're trying to build a culture, if you're trying to get free agents to come here, it's like you're sitting here saying I want to tank. It's not a good mindset if you're trying to get people to come here. It's like try to win as many games as possible. I'm not saying we're going to win a lot of games, but like, can you win 5 games? Can you win 6 games? That's all I really want. I mean, just show improvement. That way, in the future, it looks promising. Now that Drake May is the quarterback now.
No, I agree completely. I've never been a fan of the tanking talk. I mean, the last 2 years, the number 2 pick's been clearly better than the number 1 pick. And I mean, you can go through NFL history. I mean, Patrick Mahomes was the 10th pick in the draft. Aaron Rodgers, the 23rd. What was it? Tom Brady was pick number 191. I mean, you don't. I've never been a fan of tanking. I don't think it works in the NFL. It may work in other sports. I don't think it works in the NFL because this draft is perfect for the Patriots. Offensive linemen and defensive studs. And I think you could add some players through free agency on the offensive side of the ball. That said, I like Polk. I like Polk. I like what I see.
Oh, yeah. I like Polk. Yeah.
Perry says the only way you move on from Fields if he is injured or the locker room what's Wilson is the starter. I really don't know. Here's what I'm going to tell you. You got 3 turnovers. You didn't turn the ball over, so you won the turnover battle 3-0. You held Dallas to 20 points, and you still lost. I'll be honest. This makes a lot of sense, Perry. They should release Wilson to go to Miami. That makes a lot of sense to me.
I mean, why? I mean, yeah. I mean, I think that's the only realistic option that you can do. I mean, because you're not going to get anything. I mean, if you're trying to trade him, you're not going to get any value.
No,
or much value. So I mean, why not just release him?
I don't think you can trade him. To be honest with you, I'll be honest with you. I will say this though. And let me get your opinion on this. Like Tyler Huntley didn't look terrible.
No.
I mean,
he took some sacks, but I mean, he pretty much managed the game pretty well. I mean, how ugly it was.
I mean, it was an ugly game. I watched a lot of that game, and the thing is, Tyler Huntley's only been at offense for like a couple weeks, and that's a really good New England defense. I'm not going to say he's a. I think he's a solid backup quarterback in the league. I was surprised when he signed with Cleveland. I was like, you got Jameson Winston, you got Deshaun Watson. It didn't make a lot of sense, but I didn't think he played bad. I'll be honest with you. I don't think Miami would sign Russell Wilson now. I think that Perry, I don't know what's going on. I'm not pretend I do, but I think the plan for Miami and Tua is for him to come back in a couple of weeks, even though I'm going to stand by this, Tua retire, do TV, coach, just, don't risk it. I mean,
yeah,
you got like,
I think that's a terrible decision because if he gets hurt again, what are you going to do after that? It's like,
yeah, I mean, listen, Tua, you got the number. I'm hearing different things. I'm hearing 93 to 120 million guaranteed if you walk away today. Enjoy your life, man. Enjoy your life. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. If I was the Steelers, I'd tell Russell said he has a chance in the last 3 years. The media wants somebody young to mock and attack Russell. Yeah, if he didn't have a name, Fields is young. Denver Gator, I was all on board Justin Fields. And then last night I'm watching that game and I just kept on thinking to myself, like, would Russell Wilson with those 3 turnovers get more than 17 points? And I kind of went back and forth because look, there's some playmakers, man. I mean, Pickens is good, Freiermuth is good, Najee Harris is good. The offensive line is much better than it's been. And I kept on thinking to myself, if Russell Wilson was there, could they have gotten to 20? And the answer is I really don't know, but look, when you win the turnover battle 3-0 in the NFL, you usually win those games. When you win the battle and you hold the team to 20 points, especially 13 points, and what was it, the last minute of the game? So for 59 minutes, you hold them 13 points.
Yeah.
you know.
The thing with the Steelers too is like you said, they do have playmakers. I think they have one of the best in football on offense in terms of the wide receiver, just the talent around them on offense. But like, there's a lot of Steelers fans I know that they said they want Tomlin out of there.
Really, it's funny.
because
There's a Ravens fan that's talking about you wanted Harbaugh out of there, and I'm like, I get your frustration, but
Yeah.
who are you going to get that's better?
It's just like, I'm just like, well, the reason they say that is because the lack of like the play calling has just been terrible. From what obviously, I'm not a Steelers fan, but from what they're telling me, some of the play calls, Mike Tomlin really cares about is going 9-8 every single year because he hasn't been under 500 at all through his 17 years he's been with Pittsburgh. So it's like, but at the same time, who are you going to get? I mean, he's locked up until 2028, so it's like you pretty much have him for the next 4 years.
I don't think there's anything wrong with the coaching in Pittsburgh. I thought Matt Canada was a terrible offensive coordinator for the last couple of years, but now that you got a new offensive coordinator, you brought in Russell Wilson to be the starter. Like, he was getting all the reps in training camp. Then he got injured, and then there was talk about Justin Fields looking really good with the ones, and I kept on saying it's going to be a matter of time. This last week was the first time that I really thought that, maybe go back to Russell Wilson. I have no idea. It's going to be very interesting. Perry says, I think the Smith contract was front loaded. I think the Seahawks need to get a young quarterback in the draft unless Sam Howell's getting better. I really liked Sam Howell. I really did. I thought he was doing some good things. I don't think that Seattle brought him in to really even try to compete. I think he's an insurance policy. The way I understand it, and I could be wrong, is that I think Geno Smith's contract's up either this year or next year. He's been in the league for a while. I mean, he's not playing bad, but I don't think he's the answer. So, Seattle's one of those teams that going into this draft, it wouldn't surprise me in the 2025 draft that they say, hey, we're going to take a quarterback if one falls. We're going to do a lot of draft stuff. The quarterback that's been exciting to me has been Cam Ward out of Miami. I don't know if you saw it. I just saw the highlights. They were down 38-10 in the fourth quarter to Cal, which is now in the ACC, which is really weird. Came back and won 39-38. This is second straight week. I just saw the highlights, and I'm like, you got to be kidding. Last week, they were down by 10 to Virginia Tech with like 4 minutes left, came back and won that game. Like every week, Miami's down. They're ranked in the top 10. Cam Ward, he would actually be the Heisman favorite, but I don't know if you've been paying attention. Was it I'm forgetting his name. The Boise State running back is looking like Barry Sanders. I mean, it's crazy.
He might win the whole. I think he's going to win Heisman if he continues. Yeah, he'll definitely win it. I mean, that's insane what he's doing right now. I mean, he's averaging 10 yards a carry.
He's averaging 10 yards a carry, 200 yards a game, like he has. I sent this to Denver Gator. He has like over 1,000 yards rushing. 16 touchdowns, and it's 10 yards a carry through his first 5 games, and they're 4-1. I mean, it's just at the beginning of the year, it's like, can a guy from Boise State win it? And then the only guy I could think of that I would put up there as a legitimate would be a Cam Ward, University of Miami. But I mean, those numbers are just ridiculous right now.
The running back, yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, I did. So he says, in Fields been mocked, give him a chance. Russ has shipped the sale, give him for a bunch of tuna tacos. I really like what Polk is. I blame more the quarterback in New England, and I've been trying to tell you it's the offensive line, but I think Drake May might need to start sooner than later.
Yeah.
But he has some playmakers and run. He has 2 good running backs, and Polk's pretty solid as well. Where do we think Adams is getting traded? My Jets are saying, and is Josh Allen questionable for the Saints game? They handled this concussion very poorly. Keaton, all you, man.
See, I was waiting for this question because I'm like, I was looking at the Jets and I was like, okay, I think he's gonna go there. I said he was gonna go there at first, but I'm like looking at them now. I'm like, does he really want to be in New York? I'm not saying Rodgers is a bad quarterback, but it's like their offensive line is shaky. Rodgers took some. I thought Rodgers got injured on that. Did you, I don't know if you saw that play where his left leg got caught underneath?
No, if they didn't, I forget what it was. He was going to go out. He was getting ready to go into the medical tent, and then he ran back on the field. I mean, give him credit for
credit. Yeah, dang.
I mean, credit for toughness, but I was kind of surprised because I know they Olufasinu went in. He got to start at right tackle this week, and I thought overall he played well. But yeah, Rodgers got beat up. I was kind of crediting the defense more than the bad offensive line, but I mean, to sit here and say that, the offensive line's in good shape is, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, if you look, between the teams, the Jets, Saints, I know the Steelers were in the mix. I don't think Pittsburgh makes sense just because how often are you going to be able to get the football, especially with the lack of play calling that they're doing over there. And then the Jets, obviously, they have talent offensively, but they have other guys on their team that drops the ball. I mean, they had a lot of drop passes. I mean, it wasn't even Rodgers' fault. He put the ball right in the dude's hands, and the dude just dropped the ball. You seen the frustration on his face. It's like, if you're asking me what team I think makes sense, I think the Saints make the most sense for Devontae Adams. Just because I trust Derek Carr to give him the ball more consistently, and their offensive line isn't bad at all.
They have some injuries on the O-line, but Carr and Adams, teammates at college, that was the main reason he wanted to go to Vegas in the first place. He wanted to play with Derek Carr. Mm-hmm. It does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I mean, in Rodgers and Adams gets along pretty well as well. Now, so here's the deal. So I got the NFL Sunday ticket. I spent all day watching football yesterday. It was fantastic. It was just a great day. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better day. It was so much fun. I didn't watch the Bills-Texans game because I wanted to watch everything else because I knew I was going to hear enough from the highlights and I did. I saw the highlights of the concussion I heard about in social media. I want to get your opinion. I don't know if you watched the game, but I do know that he got banged up. It looked like the Bills did not follow protocol. I don't know all the answers right now, so I'm asking you what you think. But the way they handled the possible concussion is he question? I haven't even looked, Dave. I don't know if he's questionable or not. I
didn't even watch the game. I saw the highlights. Had no idea I had no idea he was dealing with a concussion potentially.
So what happened is he had a head injury. It looked like he should have been taken for an evaluation, and instead of doing that, they put some smelling salts underneath his nose, and so that's what happened. I did see something on social media about Stephon Diggs giving him the nastiest look. He didn't shake his hand or anything. There's a clip of him just giving him a nasty look. So like, there's no love lost there. But I don't believe he is questionable. The way they handled it was terrible. I've been saying this for a long time. Don't have your quarterback run the ball because you have if he gets hurt, which he's much more likely to do when he runs the ball, you have to change the offense completely. You have to go from a completely different offense with a backup quarterback. But yeah, how they handled it was bad. I have no idea. I believe he'll play, and the way the Bills handled it was really not very well. So, Perry, I really don't think that they're going to wait that long. It could. I think they're going to move him sooner, to be honest with you. I think it could happen this week. Keaton, what do you think?
I mean, I agree. I don't think it's going to be towards the deadline. I mean, the Raiders don't. He already wants to trade. He clearly doesn't want to be in Vegas, so it's like he wants to get up out of there as soon as possible. And I think they should try to, get something done immediately, not wait too long.
Yeah, and if you're the Raiders, you're probably the longer you wait, the less value you're going to get. So I mean, it makes sense. And listen, whether you're the Jets or the Saints, let's not. Am I being a dick here by saying the Chiefs are probably going to beat the Saints tonight? All right.
Nah.
So you're the Saints. You're 2-3. All right. So you're the Saints. You're 2-3. The other two teams are 3-2. So you're right there in the mix. And you play Tampa Bay, right? You play Tampa Bay. Wouldn't you want Devontae Adams sooner than later? Like, wouldn't you want him? Because if you trade for him, he doesn't need to be there for a long time. You can get him involved with the offense relatively quickly if you make a move. Like, I would want Devontae Adams for Tampa Bay at home. Like, I'm just throwing that out there. And if I'm the Jets, like, let's just say Jets play, matter of fact, Buffalo and Jets on Monday night. What a great game that's going to be.
Yeah.
If I'm the Jets, wouldn't I want to make a move now? I'm just using those two teams. If the Commanders got involved, that would be fun.
That would be great. I think they were in a mix to get him or something. I heard some rumors about them potentially maybe getting him.
Yeah, they kind of backed out, but I mean, I think it's either going to be the Jets or the Saints, and I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen sooner than that. I actually would not be surprised if he's traded in like the next 48 to 72 hours. I wouldn't be surprised one bit. I matter of fact, I'm expecting it to happen sometime next week.
Mm-hmm.
So, if Wilson wants to use the run game and uses throw smart, he's solid. The problem is Wilson wants to play hero ball. Yeah, I agree. And the one thing about him playing in Pittsburgh and seeing Justin Fields, I really think that he knows that if he could just move the sticks and not do what he was doing in Seattle, he could be successful. It's just, I'll be honest with you, I don't have the answer. All I know is that for the first time all year, I was kind of going back in my thought process of saying Justin Fields should have been the starter. This is the first time I've been backtracking and saying, man, maybe throw him out there, see what he can do.
Good.
Smith is Geno Smith. Nobody's saying he's terrible. I just, I don't think he's the guy. Am I wrong here, Keaton?
No, you're not wrong. I mean, he's just, like I said, this is just a bridge quarterback that's just there to run an offense. I mean, he doesn't take care. He doesn't, be himself on offense. He makes the right reads, but he's not a guy that's going to like get you over the hump in terms of winning the Super Bowl or anything.
Oh, I didn't. Okay, so the Boise State running back, is he going to be worn down from too many carries? No. I mean, it's funny because he's averaging 10 yards a carry. They actually have been taking him out of the games. That's not going to be an issue at all. It's going to be fun because come draft time, where do you draft him? Does he have a top 10 grade? Could he be in the top 5? It's going to be really interesting. And, we still got a long way to go. I've seen a lot of Heisman front runners get hurt. I remember Todd Gurley was the Heisman front runner and he got injured. I think it was like week 7. He tore his ACL in the game. I've seen it happen. It doesn't happen, but no, that's not going to be an issue at all. Like me and Keaton say, he's averaging 10 yards a carry, so he's good. So
yeah.
On paper, Kansas City should beat the Saints. Yeah. Listen, the one thing about Kansas City, they like making me pull my hair out, literally. I mean, every single look at what the week 1 the toenail, week 2 the 56-yarder at the end of the game, week 3 the 4th and 1 tackle with under a minute left, and then terrible play call, and then what was it last week?
17-10.
Well,
Chargers.
yeah, 17-10, yeah.
I was surprised. I didn't think that was going to be that. I thought you guys were. I thought that was a game you guys were going to okay, we can chill, we can win by like a couple scores just because of the injuries like Joe Harbaugh.
The Chargers always. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's always a nail biter. But I mean, yeah. So.
Yeah.
This is the question I was really hoping somebody would ask here. And Keaton, what can the Raiders get for Devontae Adams? Now, he doesn't want to be there. He clearly doesn't want to be there. But there's a lot of value for a guy this talented. I mean, what kind of draft compensation are you getting?
Shoot, I mean, you could get maybe a first, I mean, you could definitely get a first or maybe a second rounder for him. I mean, especially,
really?
Yeah, I mean, just what he can do on the football field, especially, I mean, it depends on who the quarterback or who's throwing the football consistently. I mean, we all know he can just go up and just grab a ball over anyone. Like, he's that special over wide receiver. So it's like, I mean, you could get a first, maybe a second. It depends. No, it just depends on what team is willing to trade for him. It's just a matter of, it's just a matter of what team trades for him. But I don't know what team that's going to be. Because, like, well, I don't know.
You say in third and fourth. That's interesting as well. I'll be honest. Okay, so I really do. I think it's going to be the Jets or the Saints, and I'm leaning towards the Jets. And I don't think you're getting a third and a fourth. I think it's second or a third, and I'm leaning towards a third. And the only reason why is that the like right now he's holding out with a hamstring injury, and that's what he's going to do. He's not going to play. I think the Raiders will try to get a second, but I think ultimately it'll be a third, and maybe more than a third, but that's kind of what I think, second or a third. Third and fourth. This is really weird about NFL teams, Barry. Teams hate giving up multiple picks because they love players even in later rounds. So you could get like a third and a sixth that could be a fifth, but a lot of times teams want like a seventh in return. But
man, I mean, don't be surprised. I mean, the Jets, they're willing to give the house for him. I mean, they're a desperate organization that wants to win. So, I mean, don't be surprised if you see them get rid of like a first, maybe a second rounder for him.
You could say
maybe
it.
Some other play.
You really could. Yeah. I mean, I think the Jets. You know what? You never know with the Jets, but I really think that because he doesn't want to be there, I really think that you're probably looking at a second or a third. But you never know. The Jets may just say, "Hey, look, we'll give you a second or a first." And honestly, here's the thing with the Raiders. I fully believe that they want to trade up for a quarterback in this draft. I don't know who the number one quarterback is going to be. Right now, I'm leaning towards Cam Smith, or is it it's Cam Ward, right? University of Miami quarterback. Yeah. Make sure you get the kid's name right. I mean, to me, I think he's quarterback number one, but I don't have that answer. I'll be doing a lot of draft stuff. Can they get a young wide receiver in a pick? From the Saints and the Jets, no.
No.
But if they traded him to Washington, maybe I think Washington. Well, actually, Washington, they got rid of Dotson for like a third or a fifth. I can't remember what the trade compensation was. That was before the year. Washington wouldn't. Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh might throw away Roman Wilson. He was a third round pick who was banged up. Like, he hasn't played yet. I think that once he starts playing, I think he could be really good, though. There is a possibility that they could get somebody like that. And those are those two teams. Off the top of my head, I can't think of another NFL team. Off the top of my head, I can't think of another team that is that would be a legitimate option. I'm thinking it's a team that's a playoff team. I mean, okay, Dallas, for example. Let's say Dallas. They have Jalen Tolbert, who's a former third-round pick. might be a possibility, but more than likely, it's going to be a draft pick, and we're all over the place. I mean, Keaton says it could be a 1 or a 2. I'm thinking like a 3rd or a 4th. Nobody really has the answer, but I'll be honest, I'd be shocked if you would get a young player in return plus a pick. I would be shocked. Let me ask you this one here because I'm a little too close to it. Should Kansas City trade for him?
Well, Devontae?
Yeah.
That would definitely be a Chiefs move, that's for sure. Man, if he were to go to the Chiefs, dang. They could. I mean, how many? Like, what's the draft? What would you guys give up? That's the thing.
Yeah, I'm on a level with you. I'm one of the few Chiefs fans that doesn't want to make a move. I kind of like what we have right now, because Hollywood Brown could come back December, January. You don't know. You also have some young talent at tight ends. I love Juju Smith-Schuster in Kansas City. So, but I mean, I'll be honest with you. Kansas City would have to overpay for a guy like Adams, and I think it'd be a 2nd. I can tell you this: Kansas City will not give up a 1. Could Kansas City give up a 2? Sure. Do I think the Raiders and Chiefs make a trade? No, I don't.
Oh yeah, no. In the division, I mean,
no. honestly, if I was the Raiders, I would do it because I'm throwing away this year right now. I mean, you're already playing musical quarterbacks, and Adams isn't going to be there, so you're not doing anything this year. I mean, you're getting killed by Denver. So what are you going to do against Kansas City? And by the way, that rookie defensive back who called Patrick Mahomes a bitch, I promise you, when the Chiefs play, when the Chiefs play the Raiders, Patrick Mahomes will hear that about 100 times. Like people will send that to him. Patrick Mahomes will remember that.
I don't know what he was. I don't know what he was thinking. Like typical rookie mistake there.
Good luck. I'm telling you this right now. Bet some money when the Chiefs play the Raiders. Put some money down. So, sad Seattle sports fan. This is a good one. This is fun.
Sad Seattle.
I love the name. This is a cool name. I'm gonna have Keaton answer this one first. Got a fantasy football question here. Close game going into tonight. I am slightly winning. Opponent has Kamara. Ooh. God, that's a good one.
I'm choosing
between Olave and Worthy for the flex spot, leaning towards Worthy with injuries. Thoughts? I already know my answer. Keaton, I want to hear from you.
Between Worthy and Olave, I would definitely go with Worthy, just because I think there's more upside at that spot, and I think he'll give you more, just production. Just obviously with Patrick Mahomes' ability to give him the ball. Not just to Kelsey, but Kelsey obviously is not the same player like he was back then. So they're going to utilize other people around him on offense at the wide receiver spot. So yeah, I would definitely go with Worthy. He has speed, just a matter of him catching consistently because he's too fast, for some defenders. But if you're asking me between Worthy and Olave, I would definitely go with Worthy there.
Okay. I want to ask, because Travis Kelce has his 35th birthday Saturday. Are you calling him old?
I mean, he still has it. I mean, there's a lot of people around the league that are calling him or saying he's washed up and stuff. I mean, he doesn't really have to ask to do too much now that they have other pieces on the offense. So like, as long as he's just doing his part, I mean, the Chiefs are going to be in it every single year. So.
Well, so here's the deal, because this confuses a lot of people. Did you know that me and Travis Kelce both had birthdays Saturday? So we share birthdays. Yeah. So it was fun. I celebrated yesterday by watching football all day. So this is a little confusing because we have the same birthday. People get us mixed up all the time. And I thought I would try to make it easy for you and everybody else. I'm the guy who's not dating Taylor Swift. So I'm just throwing it out there. Were you thinking that me and you are you having problems differentiating me and Travis Kelce? I was going to throw up a picture and try to throw up subtle differences, but just so you guys know, I'm the guy who's not dating Taylor Swift because we share a birthday. It's easy to get us mixed up. Just remember that. It's hard. Okay, sad Seattle sports fan. I'm going to give you advice that's just the opposite. I would definitely go with Olave. The Chiefs have a lockdown number one corner. I don't think he's going to travel with Olave the whole game. I think Olave is much more likely to get you consistent points, but he's a lot less likely to give you that home run that Worthy could get. Yeah. With Worthy, you have a chance you could get a 60-yard touchdown anytime. You still have that home run threat with Olave, but Olave's the number one guy there in New Orleans. Worthy is not really the number one guy in Kansas City. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to see Worthy get a big touchdown early in this game to open up the rest of the offense, but I'm really not expecting it. I would go with Olave. I'm not going to lie to you. I think Kamara is going to have a good game fantasy wise. I really do, but I think Olave. The Chiefs have one of the best corners in football, McDuffie. I think McDuffie's going to play all over. I don't think they're going to lock him up one-on-one against Olave. So, but I would go with Olave. Keaton would go with Worthy. Look, this is the thing about fantasy football. There's no exact answers. What Keaton said, I thought was smart. I mean, you have a home run threat. Anytime Worthy touches the ball, he can score. End around, screen. I mean, just a home run, jump ball. You never know. So everything he said is just correct. So, yeah. Perry says, "Be glad you're not dating her. I wait for the fallout when." Yeah. So I'm a level with you, Perry. Even when they do break up, and let's just be honest. I'm not hating. Like, I hope it works out, but let's just be real. Like, she may call me, but I'm gonna be like, no, I'm not. I'm good. So I'm just letting you know. I'm gonna be like, no, I'm good.
I don't. Unless she offers you like dinner or something different.
I mean, she comes to Vegas. I mean, I'm just saying, like, maybe we do dinner, but no, we're not gonna date. Rhinos Roundtable made it just in time. Flacco sucks. Colts suck. Jags suck. So it's one of the weirdest anomalies. Indianapolis cannot win in Jacksonville, no matter what. It's one of the weirdest anomalies. I should have put action on Jacksonville, but no, I didn't. Sad Seattle sports fan, let us know what you recommend or what you do. I actually hope you tune in for the game. I'll be live in just under an hour and a half to do Chiefs Saints. So I want to know what you choose, and I hope you join in. And by the way, both me and Keaton want you to win your fantasy football matchup. Like we want you to win. We hope whoever you go with does better, and both of us want to see Kamara fumble like 3 or 4 times and have the Chiefs win big. Nobody wants to see a tight game, but let's be honest, the Chiefs don't know how to do anything else except tight games. So
that's true. 4 weeks, yeah.
I mean, it's just that way. It's just that way. All right, so listen, we only got a couple minutes left. I mean, there's so many things I would want to talk about here. I don't even know where to begin, but I'm going to fire a few things out just real fast here. Cardinals 49ers. I predicted the Cardinals would cover. I did not think that they would win. My boy Corey, a.k.a. the Red Sea, is not here today. I wish he was. I would love to give him a shout out, but can I just talk about I would love to talk about the whole NFC West. We only got a few minutes. I want to talk about the Niners. They're 2-3 right now. Are they done? What's going on?
I mean, to be honest, if I'm just being real with you, I think the 49ers are a good team. I think this is a team that you cannot write off. But if you're asking me right now, do I think this team's come out the NFC? I don't think they're going to come out the NFC this year.
No, really? Okay.
I don't think so. Just because with all that drama, I mean, I just think it's with the Brandon Ayuk stuff going on in the offseason about him wanting his contract, and then they were talking about they were potentially going to trade and move on from him, and then they give him the contract. I just don't know. I think their window passed when they lost the Chiefs, and that was their opportunity. I mean, you had 2 times and you played the Chiefs, you've had double-digit leads, and you weren't able to close the deal. So it's like that. I mean, that can haunt you for a long time. And then you guys play the 49ers soon, right?
Yeah, so we get a bye next week, and I think it's right after the bye.
Yeah,
Let me
I
double
think
check.
okay.
Yeah. So we have a bye next week, and then right after the bye, it's kind of fun because we stay on the West Coast. We play at San Francisco. We have a bye. I think San Francisco has a bye next week too. I may be just making stuff up. Okay, so no, they don't have. So they don't have a bye. They play Thursday, so the Chiefs get a few extra days because of the Thursday game.
Yeah.
But then the Chiefs play the Raiders, and I'm going to tell you this right now: like when the Chiefs play the Raiders in Vegas, yeah, put some money on the Chiefs. I mean, I'm just telling you that right now. Yeah, Perry. Yeah, and this is why I would lean towards Olave is because you're winning. Not slightly. I don't know what that means, but Olave is more likely to get you points, so you're protecting a lead. So you want to go with the guy that's got the higher ceiling fantasy wise. If you were losing, I might go with Worthy because he's more likely to have that home run, but he's also much more likely to be shut out. I mean, that's just the way the Chiefs offense is. You really have no idea. I think Kareem Hunt's going to have some receptions. There was a guy that put up a prop bet earlier, said Kareem Hunt over 12.5 yards. Take that. I think Noah Gray's going to have some catches. I think Kelsey could have. I do think Kelsey's going to have a touchdown. I do think he's going to have a touchdown.
Just down the red zone. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and the reason why I say this is because the linebackers for the Saints, both Willie Gay and Demario Davis, were out last week. Even if they come back, they're not going to be 100%. Chiefs are a tough matchup, especially when you're banged up. So, yeah, I see the same thing. And because you're protecting a lead, Sad Seattle sports fan, great name, by the way. Great name. I love it. Yeah, the game is in Kansas City. It's at Arrowhead. Yeah. Because you're protecting a lead, I would lean towards Olave. Keaton says go for Worthy because you're more likely to get that splash. But Sad Seattle sports fan, hopefully you win. Let me know. Number one, by the way, like, just because you're getting 2 different opinions doesn't mean one's right, one's wrong. Just number one thing we both want is we want you to win. So keep me informed of what you do. And if you can, join the live stream and, keep me informed. And nobody wants Kamara to have a good – full disclosure, I really, really, really do believe that Kamara's going to have a decent game. I fantasy football wise, I like Kamara, so I think your opponent has some good luck here. Let me ask you. Okay, Keaton. Final thing here. I'm back on the homepage of ESPN, and I'm seeing this comment. I got to ask you about this here. The Colts coach, Richardson will start over Flacco when healthy. I want to end on your thoughts about that.
Richardson will start for the Colts when healthy. I mean, if you're talking about if you're trying to win right now, Flacco gives you that better shot to do that than Richardson does. Because the thing with Richardson, the potential is there. He does have size. He can use his legs. The thing is, like I said this last week when I came on your show, like best ability is availability. So it's like, how often is he going to be able to stay healthy on the field? He hasn't done that yet. So it's like, do you roll the dice, throw him out there, and then if he gets hurt again, then what's your option after that? I mean, Flacco, I think he should. And I think it's a smart move. I mean, the Colts they're not in the rebuild or anything. I think they have a solid talent, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, I think they're pretty solid there. So why not roll the quarterback like Flacco, who has experience, who's won Super Bowls, and could probably take the Colts. I mean, I think they're a playoff team with him at quarterback more than I think Richardson is.
No, I agree completely. I mean, I don't understand why you don't go with Flacco. You have a chance to get into the playoffs with Flacco. I think Richardson. Here's the thing. I think it would benefit Richardson more than anything to just have him sit and learn, and then get in there, a couple times a game. But that's hey, listen, we're at the 3-hour mark here. I know Keaton's got 3 or 4 dates lined up. I will be live in just over an hour for Chiefs Saints. I hope everybody comes back and joins. And just so you guys don't get confused, I'm the guy who's not dating Taylor Swift. So in case you confuse me and Travis Kelce, which is easy to do. I'm the one who's not dating Taylor Swift. That's all I have. Questions, comments. You could drop a comment in on YouTube or on Twitch. I will get to it. You can DM me directly, Instagram, Twitter. You can go old school and shoot me an email, dantalksfootball@yahoo.com. I won't respond till after the Chiefs game. So unfortunately, but I'll be live just right before the Chiefs game starts. So if you have a question about fantasy football for Monday Night Football, get your questions in fast. Keaton Talks Sports. The link to his channel is below. Subscribe to it. It's an awesome channel. And Keaton, before we go, man, floor is yours, man. What do you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a pleasure having me on your show. It's always fun. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Obviously, hopefully it's a better week in terms of pick'em because it's been very, very, very unpredictable. A lot of upsets and it's been average. I've been average so far in pick'em. So hopefully we have a breakout week this week, but you just never know. But it's always fun having me on your show for sure.
Hey, Keaton, is your picks video coming out tomorrow?
It will probably be out. I haven't made it. It'll probably be out tomorrow, late tomorrow, early Wednesday. I put it out Wednesday last week because I was too busy on Tuesday, so I had to put it out the next day. So it might be late Tuesday, early Wednesday.
All right. So his is coming out. So mine's coming out 1 Eastern. 10 a.m. Pacific time. Mine will be out. So check mine out and then check Keaton's out. The link to his channel is below. Guys, I hope to see everybody back in just a little over an hour for Monday Night Football.
Peace.